What's cracking? How's everybody doing, man? We in the building. Artemis. Let's see what's going on with
Artemis. Coming up on 1 day and 1 hour and 10 minutes since the launch of the Artemis 2 mission from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And we've just marked 5 minutes until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn, which will send us to the moon.
Yeah, who believes in this shit, man? I need to know, man. We need to know. We need to talk about it, man. Okay? Let's have a discussion, man. Let's have a discussion, man. Who out here thinks that these motherfuckers is right now? They flying to the moon right now. It's a goddamn the moon a gazillion miles away. Allegedly, because we don't even really know how far the moon is away. But it's far. These motherfuckers is talking to these motherfuckers and shit. Who believes that? Who believe that? Hmm? Huh? Hmm? Who believes this?
Coming up on 1 day and 1 hour and 10 minutes since the launch of the Artemis 2 mission from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And we've just marked 5 minutes until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn, which will send us to the moon. Our crew, Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen are all aboard the spacecraft, which is properly configured for the burn. This commits us to leaving Earth orbit and moving beyond the moon. It also is our deorbit burn and commits us to coming home and splashing down in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10. The spacecraft is in the proper attitude, the proper configuration, with its solar array wings swept up toward the spacecraft, allowing the orbital maneuvering system engine, which will conduct the burn to prevent it from imparting any loads on those solar array wings. This will be a 5-minute and 49-second burn, at which point Orion will be just 115 miles above Earth.
116 miles? How many miles did you say above Earth?
Second burn, at which point Orion will be just 115 miles above Earth.
So they're only 115 miles above Earth. How far is the moon? Let me look to see how far the moon is, man. Because it's been a whole day and they're 115 miles above Earth. How far away is the moon? Okay, they hear me. They're 116 miles away, right? From Earth. The moon is 238,900 miles. The moon is 238,000 miles away. The moon is 238,000 miles away. Do you know how fucking far that is? Listen. They need to declassify some of this technology. If they could talk to motherfuckers that far away, but we can't get cell phone reception on Earth, we need to figure that out, man. 238,000 miles away. That's how far the moon is from Earth. Yo, there's no car. Listen. Shout out to Anthony Madison, man. He said, mate, you got this all wrong. I'm willing to come up. When I drop the link, Anthony Madison, please come up. Please come up. Please come up. Other people will block you if you say something wrong. You disagree with them. A lot of YouTubers, if you disagree with them, they'll block you. I'm begging you. Please come up. Boy, Kachina says Alicia Shadows knows. Yeah, man. Trust the sister, man. Sisters, man. Sisters know everything, man.
It remains quiet here in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, as teams continue to monitor their systems. Everything's still looking good, and everyone go for translunar injection.
A lot of y'all don't have, he said that's nothing in a vacuum. Listen, man. Listen, man. It's Uber drivers, DoorDash drivers that sometimes take stuff to the wrong address or can't find your house with GPS. These motherfuckers just gonna go to the moon and they gonna get there. They ain't gonna get lost. They ain't gonna veer off course. Every time they just gonna get there. And these motherfuckers never been to the moon. Think about it. These motherfuckers flying this shit never been to the moon. If jack me off, if you're if that don't work, man, you can support the channel on the website. You can go to the website and support the channel. That's the link to go to the website, support the channel, man. My Oc Nation News website, man. That's the link to go there. You can support the channel over there, man. Salute to Lynn, aka and no one ever has been to the moon. Exclamation point. He put an exclamation point on that motherfucker. This is the head of NASA right here. This guy. I forgot his name. I gotta look up his name. So we can see. He did an interview yesterday. These people are just so fake.
3 minutes now until the time of ignition for the translunar injection burn. Orion now 190 miles above Earth's surface, 248,600 miles away from the moon. Continuing to hear good reports from the flight controllers here, Artemis Mission Control in Houston.
Yo, this is diabolical that they're doing this, man. They're literally blowing smoke up our asses, guys. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show y'all this, man. Let me show y'all this, man. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all this, man. Let me show y'all this, man. Hit the like button, man. Everybody, smash the like. This is hysterical, man. This one is hysterical right here.
You ready for the event?
Houston Integrity, we are ready for the event.
Who believes they're hurtling towards the moon right now? And they done took shits and pissed. Would have been a day. So, man, I took 2 shits today, man. Did I take 2 shits today? I can't remember how many shits I took. I know I took a shit today. Used like half a roll of toilet paper to wipe my ass, man. Don't you know when it break off? Press 1. Don't you hate when it break off? When your shit break off, it don't come out a whole piece, it's break in half, and you gotta use half a roll of toilet paper to wipe your ass. Press 1, man. Press 1. I know I ain't the only one. I ain't the only one. I can't be the only one, man. Shit, man. He said, not gonna lie, use baby wipes. You can't flush baby wipes, though. You can't flush baby wipes. That's why I don't use baby wipes right like that, man, because you can't flush them. Clog up your toilet. But, yeah, man. He said, I ain't pressing 1. You ain't got to press 1. I know everybody know what that is. He said, Antelope Freeway, exit 1 mile. Yo, they shitted. Listen, it been a day. Somebody shitted. Can we at least agree on this? It's been 1 day, 4 people. One of these motherfuckers shitted. Press 1 if you think one of these motherfuckers shitted. Ain't no. Oh, you gotta put me on to the flushable wipes. I didn't know they were flushable wipes. I gotta put me on to that. What's the brand? I can look it up. Just tell me the name of it. I'll look it up. I didn't know they were flushable wipes. One of these motherfuckers shitted. They ain't scared. Listen, any second, everything could go left. You in space. You ain't never been to space. You don't know what's out there. Any second, everything go left. And if shit go left up there, you in trouble. Ain't no ambulance coming to get you. But they're gonna send another. What they got? Space. They got space. AAA. Yo, he said homeboys in space. Yo, do they got AAA in space? I need somebody to help me out, man. Somebody help me out. Do they got AAA in space? Because if something go wrong, everything gotta go perfect. Everything gotta go perfect. Remember, this mission, everything has to go perfect. He said they shit an air cloud of shit. Go buy you bombs. Wow. Soul Plane. Jack me off say super sticker. Shout out to Jack me off, man. Listen, man. Somebody shit it, man.
ABC News, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Integrity for a voice check.
Integrity, this is...
I know, listen, if I'm up there and we rumbling and shit, to imagine what the turbulence is like. How many of y'all have been on a plane with turbulence? Press 1 if you've been on a plane with turbulence. We said something. It says 1969 they were not supposed to make it back. Okay. Hey, okay. They made it back. How about that? They made it back in 1969. Which is insanity. If you've been on a plane with turbulence, imagine what the turbulence is like on this motherfucker. Imagine what the turbulence is like on this, if they really go into space. If they really go into space, the turbulence got to be a month. Oh, but they're in a vacuum, right? So it's no turbulence because they're in a vacuum, right? The vacuum of space, right? There's no vacuum of space. It's bullshit. They control the narrative on space because nobody been up there. We don't know if it could be weather up in space. We don't know. They tell us it's a vacuum. How the fuck do we know it's a vacuum? Yeah, I hope they didn't eat no fucking Mexican before they went up there. But I'm sure NASA is smart enough to not let nobody eat no Mexican.
Gio Benitez at ABC News. How do you hear me?
Outstanding. We have you loud and clear. How about us?
Listen. They going to the moon. And they got time for this bullshit. They got time. What is she knitting? Is she knitting? She knitting. Come on, man. This is fraudulent. Why they not floating like real floating? They don't look like they floating. Because you remember you're supposed to float in space, right? He said, yeah, if you have a shark, yo, listen, if you have a shark up there, Joe, could you imagine you have a shark up there? There's no fucking washing machine up there. If you have a shark, you know how if you shark, you gotta take the boxes off. The boxes might float away. You gotta take your pants off, take your boxes in front of these motherfuckers. Press 1. In front of these people. You ain't got no when you shark, you leave the room, you run to the bathroom, you waddle. What do they call it? You scoop because you can't, because the shit the shit rubbing up against your ass, so you gotta scoot. You be walking funny when you shart. When you shart, you walk funny as hell. You just leave abruptly. You be in mid-sentence. You be like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, man. No bullshit, man. Pew! You leave motherfucker hanging and shit. Like, what the fuck? Where this nigga go? Throw your drawers in the trash. Press 1. You shart, them drawers going in the trash. Press 1. If you shart, them drawers going in the trash. Them drawers going in the trash, man. You ain't trying to clean them drawers. Them drawers going in the trash if you shart. If one of these people shart, they can't leave, they can't go to another room. Who's holding the camera? And why the camera not floating? Listen, if one of these motherfuckers shart, they gonna have to head back to Earth. Think about that. If you shart, we gotta call Houston and be like, hey, Houston, man, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Especially this early in the mission. When you this early in the mission, we still close to Earth. What they say, they're 116 miles away from Earth. This close, man, we gotta go back. Hey, yo, listen, we gotta go back. I'm hitting up Houston. I'm like, Houston, yeah, this motherfucker sharted, man. This motherfucker, this motherfucker, this white motherfucker up here, he done sharted and shit. He sharted, man. We gotta go back, man. We gotta come back, bro. He sharted. He said, use a wet vac to catch that shark. You good. Jesus Christ. Holy moly. A wet vac? Holy moly. Yo. He said, listen. This is bullshit, man. Listen, if you shart on this motherfucker, we got to go back. We gotta go back, man. We gotta go back, and this motherfucker gotta take a shower, man. He gotta clean himself up, man. It ain't nowhere. This shit don't even make sense, man. It wouldn't even make sense to go out here in this little thing. Why would you go in this little thing? This is unsustainable. Like, why would you not wait till you have better technology so you could go in something bigger? Press 1. What's the rush? Why are you going in this little ass thing? Why can't you just go on a big ass ship? Why you can't go on a big ship? It's a vacuum, right? It's a vacuum. Why you can't go on a bigger ship? What about space? It got to be a small little ship like this, a tent. They say this is as big as a 6-person tent. Where they sleep at? Where do they sleep at? He says easy to park. Where do they sleep at? Sleep is very important, man. You gotta shit. We already discussed that. You gotta shit. You gotta You gotta sleep. Where they sleeping at? They floating. They floating or they strap themselves down to sleep. Or he's gonna hold that while he sleep. He's gonna be nodding off, holding on to that shit. Like, what the fuck, man? What's going on? Where they sleeping at? Where their beds at? This the whole thing. He said, I'm gonna feel terrible about his opinion if they listen. I already witnessed that when I was in 6 years, when I was 7, 8, Challenger. They wheeled the little TV in the room and let us watch that shit. We've been seeing Challenger crash, man. We've been seeing that, man. What you talking about? Wasn't nobody on that motherfucker. That shit was empty. That shuttle was empty. And what happened to the shuttle? How come the shuttle could get there and now the shuttle can't get there no more? Remember the shuttle? Who remember the shuttle? Remember the shuttle? There was a little plane strapped to the side. It was a plane strapped to a rocket and shit. Remember that? Who remember that? What happened to that? How come that could get up there, but now you can't? It can't get up there no more. Remember the little plane strapped to the rocket? It's a plane strapped to a rocket. The shuttle. He said the shuttle didn't leave Earth orbit. The shuttle only went in orbit around the Earth. Okay. So it flew. So basically it's a plane. Basically it's a plane. Basically the shuttle was a plane. Basically the shuttle was a plane. They flew a plane really high. Anthony Madison says, NASA ain't the quality learning center. Yes, it is. Yes, the fuck it is. They taking a bunch of money too. They taking a bunch of money, just like the quality learning center. Yes, they are. They are the quality learning center, man. What you talking about, man? Let's get back to this, man. I'll get back to this shit, man. These motherfuckers. Let's see these motherfuckers right here. What the hell are they talking about, man?
Outstanding. We have you loud and clear. How about us?
I hear you loud and clear, and I truly cannot believe it. You are quite literally on the way to the moon right now and still speaking with us. Tell me, how do you...
That's just a weird thing to say. Are you trying to convince us or are you trying to convince yourself? Is he trying to convince us or is he trying to convince himself?
You are quite literally on the way to the moon right now and still speaking with us. Tell me, how do you feel? What's going through your mind? I mean, this must be so incredible because have you allowed the weight?
And look, they're letting this shit float. This is a distraction. This is a prop. Why? This is a prop right here. Listen. If think about it like this, right? If they really in space, right? And things float in space, What's the difference between that thing and a human being? It's nothing in a vacuum. In a vacuum, a goddamn armored tank would float. Why are they using this little fucking thing to show us that they're in 0G or whatever? Everything would float. Y'all would be floating. Your ass would be in the air. You wouldn't be able to control. Your ass would be in the air. And her hair, all that is a goddamn gel. Hold, what do you call it? Hair hold? What's that stuff they put in their hair to hold it? Why her hair ain't like each individual strand flittering? And if this was really 0G, each individual strand in her hair would be taking its own course. It would be like silica or the jellyfish. It wouldn't just be sitting straight up like somebody like she put some cum. Like it looked like what's that movie with Ben Stiller and fucking Carmen Diaz? What's that movie that came out where she put the hair gel in her? She put the sperm in her hair, and it's. Something about Mary, yeah. She got something about Mary going on. That ain't how hair move. In 0G. In 0G, it would just be every strand and shit it wouldn't just sit straight up.
Of the moment to really fit in here? Have you allowed that to happen?
Well, first and foremost, we all wanted to give a shout out to our families first because we are pretty far from Earth and we have not gotten to say hi to them yet. But there was a moment about an hour.
He just let go. He let go. Why he ain't float? Why his head didn't hit the ceiling? Watch him let go. Watch this. Watch goddamn astronaut Obama. Watch him let go of this shit, right? Why his head ain't instantly hit the ceiling? Watch.
Gotten to say hi to them yet. But there was a moment about an hour ago where Mission Control Houston reoriented our spacecraft as the sun was setting behind the Earth. And I don't know what we all expected to see in that moment, but you could see the entire globe from pole to pole. You could see Africa, Europe, and if you looked really close, you could see the northern line.
What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is this guy talking about? When people lie, they talk about specific things like that have nothing to do with the shit, right? He talking about specific bullshit, stupid bullshit. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. And I'm gonna drop the link shortly. Let me show you something. When people lie, they often include excessive, irrelevant details. For example, specific street names, precise times, minor clothing details to make their story seem more credible. A tactic often driven by the belief that more information equals greater believability. These specifics can actually signal deception because they differ from authentic memories, which tend to be more general. Irrelevant detail overload. Providing unsolicited, minute details about a story that don't add to the core narrative. Remembering every small detail with perfect clarity. The details serve as a distraction or camouflage to hide the lack of true cohesive story. Listen to what this motherfucker talking about right here. Now that you know that, I want you to listen to what this motherfucker's talking about. Listen to what this fucker's talking about. While they hurtling a gazillion miles through space in a fucking tent and shit, a metal tent.
Far from Earth, and we have not gotten to say hi to them yet. But there was a moment about an hour ago where Mission Control Houston reoriented our spacecraft as the sun was setting behind the Earth. And I don't know what we all expected to see in that moment, but you could see the entire globe from pole to pole. You could see Africa, Europe, and if you looked really close, you could see the Northern Lights. It was the most spectacular moment, and it paused all four of us in our tracks.
What has been most surprising to you about this so far?
Well, I think probably one of the things that surprised all of us is when those solid rocket boosters actually lit and we left the pad. It was just a moment of disbelief. And yeah, the fact that we launched, it just totally takes you by surprise, even though you're expecting it, at least for me anyway. And I just had a huge smile across my face.
So he felt rockets beneath him, a gazillion fucking gallons of rocket fuel, and he started smiling. Does that make sense? Even if you're on a roller coaster, you're not smiling. If you're on a fucking roller coaster at Six Flags, and you tick 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 to the top, and you about to take the drop, no one's smiling. This motherfucker was on a big tall ass, like the size of a skyscraper, a big tall ass tube the size of a skyscraper filled to the gills with rocket fuel. And when they lit the shit and he started taking off and projecting up, this motherfucker started smiling. Does that make fucking sense? Boy Kachina says, Artemis used the old shuttle rocket engines and fuel tanks to save money. Shuttle was supposed to go to the moon, but Nixon nixed it, made it spy satellite delivery ship instead. K1 Hubble. Man, all that shit bullshit. Nixon didn't do shit. That shit ain't go nowhere. That shit didn't go nowhere. The shuttle didn't go anywhere, man. There's nobody on these fucking things. These people are in a fucking studio somewhere. These people ain't on that. These people ain't in a little fucking hub, a little fucking pod hurtling through space at a zillion miles per hour. Hell no, these people ain't doing that right now. Are you serious? The connection ain't going. Listen, the connection has been steady. They're steadily going to the moon, and the connection has been steady. That you know what I mean? Nobody got Borgy, nobody's voice got Borgy and shit, started Borging. Nobody, the connection didn't go in and out. This shit is just straight perfect. And this nigga talking about the sunset over Africa and shit. This is horse shit. Okay? We said always Africa. Yeah, they talk about Africa to make it, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, just like they got this nigga here, Obama, or astronaut Obama. All this shit is to make you like not challenging.
From pole to pole, you can see Africa, Europe, and if you looked really close, you could see the northern lights. It was the most spectacular moment, and it paused all four of us in our tracks.
What has been most surprising to you about this so far?
Well, I think probably one of the things that surprised all of us is when those solid rocket boosters actually lit and we left the pad. It was just a moment of disbelief. And yeah, the fact that we launched, it just totally takes you by surprise, even though you're expecting it, at least for me anyway. And I just had a huge smile across my face.
Did it feel different? Because I can imagine that's such a powerful rocket that must have felt different for you.
One of the biggest surprises was how smooth riding those solids was. We all expect.
That's not what you're gonna be thinking about when you fucking in a tube full of rocket fuel. Oh, this is so smooth, and you're hurtling through the galaxy. Oh, this is so smooth. Salute to my man Ray Wall, man. He said, "What up? Sons may believe in the white boogeyman, but we know NASA ain't shit." Yeah, man. NASA ain't. Yeah, man. Maybe it's my son mind, my shrewd based son mind. I ain't. My mind ain't clouded with all the things that high IQ white people's minds are clouded with. And listen, white people, let me tell you something, man. Y'all have done some great things on this planet Earth. Listen, let me tell white people something, man. I love you white people, man. Y'all have done a lot, man. Me thinking this is bullshit means nothing about how much I appreciate all the great things y'all have done on the planet, man. It has nothing to do with that, okay? Y'all have done a lot of great stuff, man, white people. Listen, for instance, man, white people invented the bathtub, the shower, the printing press, electricity. You harnessed electricity. Calculus, optical lenses, genetics, the telegraph, perspective painting, semiconductor electronics, archaeology, monogamy, television, clarinet, the guitar, geometry, philosophy, the bicycle, blood transfusion, universities, automobile, zoology, paleontology, seismograph, cardiograph, internet, taxonomy, anesthesia. Shout out to anesthesia. Turbine engine, washing machine, novels, children's literature, toaster, microwave, flying shuttle. All right. Spinning jenny, coffee maker, plant breeding, air conditioning, vacuum cleaner, dishwasher, assembly line, and so much more. I believe in all that stuff. I believe all that stuff is real. I think space is horse shit. Space travel is horse shit. Okay? Space travel is horse shit. Boy Kachina says, Soviets lost because we could see their secrets. Listen, Soviets didn't lose. Ain't nobody go to space. Nobody went to the moon. Soviets didn't lose. Nobody went to the moon. Soviets would have lost if we actually went to the moon, but we beat them with bullshit, and we let them do the bullshit too. We said, all right, we won, but you can tell your people that y'all went to the moon too. Nixon nixed the moon base, but okayed the space shuttle. Nixon
expected a really just dynamic ride, a lot of motion. We were prepared to potentially not being able to see telemetry, maybe even not being able to, touch switches. And
why is she blinking so fucking much? Yo, she's blinking. Does being in space make you blink every fucking 10th of a second? Is something about space make you blink like a goddamn fucking maniac? Unless them dudes got her hostage up there, unless they just ran a train on her and she trying to blink to let people know she, you know what I'm saying? Send the space police out there. She blinking. She wants you to send the space police, man. Woo, woo, woo. Space police, here come the space police. Pull over. They're gonna pull. The space police gonna pull Artemis over, man. They're gonna pull Artemis over in space.
One of the biggest surprises was how smooth riding those solids was. We all expected a really just dynamic ride, a lot of motion. We were prepared to potentially not being able to see telemetry, maybe even not being able to, touch.
What the fuck is she talking about? They're not talking about the mission. The mission. Yo, man, it was like they're talking like liars. These little details about little stupid shit, that's how liars, that's how people talk when they're lying. Irrelevant details about bullshit. All these specifics about a bunch of bullshit. You said no vibration, no noise. When you on a plane, it's a constant noise. Zzz. Let me listen. Just a plane. This shit. This shit is crazy. This is horse shit. When you're on a plane, man, anybody knows this that flies or flew. When you're on a plane, you hear this. Well, let me guess. They in a vacuum, right? They in a vacuum, so you don't hear shit because they in a vacuum, right? They got an excuse for every fucking thing. This is horse shit, man. This shit ain't going. This shit. These motherfuckers in the studio. This is a studio. Salute to he said. Salute to short bus drivers. He said YouTube won't let me send super stickers. What the fuck? Probably because of this. Hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat, buy me a coffee, everything. I just dropped the link. Did I drop the link to the website? Yeah, you can go to the website and hit the and donate. You can donate on the website, man. You can donate on the website, man. Or you can yeah, man, this is horse shit. This is horse shit. All right. Cockamamie caca horse shit. All right. Cockamamie caca horse shit. You can support the channel. There's plenty of ways to support the channel.
Switches, and it was very smooth. It was a definite difference when they separated and we were just on the main engines, but just a steady rumble and a great ride.
What do you want to tell Americans here at home who are watching this right now? They're quite amazed at the fact that you are speaking to us on the way to the moon right now. What do you want to tell them about this particular mission and why it's so important?
First and foremost, I would just like to say thank you. Your support and trust in us has enabled this, and so many people that have worked.
I don't trust you. You ain't auto-suggested me, motherfucker. Astronaut Obama, I don't trust y'all. Don't take my trust for granted. Press 1. Don't take my trust for granted, Astronaut Obama. I don't trust y'all. Salute to you, man. He said no air travel is way different than air travel. See, they already got you. They already have hypnotized you for decades. See, so many people are just brainwashed from decades of bullshit of hearing how they do this shit. And you can't really see through all the bullshit that you've been taught and indoctrinated with. And I was too. I just don't believe I don't believe these motherfuckers are in no fucking pod, flying, hurtling through the sky, going to space, going to the moon. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Okay? I don't believe it. You said it was filmed live, but it being filmed live doesn't mean that they're in space. All that it means is was filmed live somewhere. Like, it doesn't mean that they're in space. See how they adopt. See how the NASA shields talk. Well, it has to be real because it was filmed live. You can film live from a studio. I'm live. Hey, asshole! I'm live right now. I'm not in space. I'm live right now. I'm not in space. Snake in the building. Anthony Madison says, "You believe in satellites? Artemis is a satellite. I don't believe in satellites either. Most shit is ground. Most stuff that they call satellite is done with air balloons. Air balloons and underground wires and files and shit like that, and underwater cables. Air balloons. You didn't know that a lot of the stuff is air balloons that go up high, real high in the air. A lot of the internet, a lot of that stuff is air balloons. They special air balloons that can stay up in air for a long time. And they just gotta cycle them. They cycle them. There's no such thing as a satellite. Satellite is bullshit. And I know you're like, damn, this nigga don't believe in it. Yeah, satellite is bullshit. Satellite is bull. It's no satellite is bullshit. I bet these motherfuckers don't see no satellite. I bet these motherfuckers don't. All them satellites that's up there in the sky, I bet you these motherfuckers won't see one. Okay? I'm not saying they don't launch something into the air. This dude think I'm saying they didn't launch something into the air. We saw them launch something into the air. I'm saying there's no people on it. Cathode. What's a cathode ray? I don't know what a cathode ray is. I did not say they didn't just blast something into the air the other day. I'm saying there was nobody on it. Short bus driver says, can we look at the Project Fishbowl vids? Project Fishbowl? I don't know what that is. I gotta look that up. I don't know what Project Fishbowl is, man. I have no idea, man. Project Fishbowl. The firmament. All right, I'll pull that up in a minute, man. Let me just see these motherfuckers talking all this bullshit. Short bus driver says, okay, Google unfucked itself, I guess. Yeah, salute to you, man. Thank you for trying. Thank you for being determined, man. to support the channel, man. Appreciate you, bro.
First and foremost, I would just like to say thank you. Your support and trust in us has enabled this, and so many people that have worked for so long to make this possible. But also, we're just getting started. You know, we've worked really hard, and even though we were a little surprised to actually launch yesterday, we have a lot of mission left ahead of us. And so I really want to tell them, stay tuned and keep tabs on what's going on. NASA's doing a great job of communicating all the things to come.
I can't even tell you how many cheers were there on the ground. I was there watching you all lift off from the Kennedy Space Center, and everyone was so excited, so happy, and that was just incredible. Jeremy, I know this is your first time in space, and you're surrounded by all of these space vets. What's it been like for you that this is your first mission there?
There has been a tremendous amount of disbelief for me. It's just so extraordinary. I just kept saying to them yesterday, like, I really like it up here. I wish I could have got here sooner. It's just such a...
Who would like being in this fucking pod? This is the whole thing. This is as big as the whole thing is. Who would like being in that, man? Like, seriously, man. They're not even acting like real people. Forget the part that you're hurtling through space at a gazillion miles per hour. You don't know what's out there. You don't know nothing. You don't know if the next second everything's going to blow up or fucking compress into nothing. You don't know nothing, right? Besides all that, right? You're in this fucking little thing with these fuckers. He told me he like it up there. Bullshit. Bullshit. Boy, Kachina says, Hubble pictures aren't CGI. Man, satellite. Ain't no satellites, man. There's no satellites. Those are air... What they say satellites do is done by air balloons, man. Y'all don't know that, man. Air balloons do everything they say satellites do. Air balloons do that. It's just done by air balloons. Okay. Satellites are just a space lies and shit. More space lies. You notice they never talk about a satellite. Hey man, we going up to fix the satellite. Hey man, satellite crashed to Earth. Hey man, the satellite. All the satellites working perfectly up there. Nothing ever happens. Lynn says, my brother hates me because of this shit. Oh, shit. You're pro space, right, Lynn? I think you're
tremendous place to be. The views are extraordinary. It's really fun to be floating around, and it just makes me feel like a little kid.
Show me footage of a satellite crashing the Earth. Show me some footage of a satellite crashing the Earth. And I bet they always crash in a field somewhere, right? They never crash in the middle of a city, I bet. They always crash into a field somewhere, right? Or in the woods somewhere, right? Always, right? Or in the ocean, right?
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet. Which one of you was the plumber?
There's a little bit of issue with the toilet. So now we getting into some, because they know I told y'all. They know most motherfuckers like, hold on, wait a second, man. You got shit, man. Everything ain't gonna go perfect, man. Like I told you, man. I was shitting today, man. My shit broke off. My shit broke in half. It didn't come out clean. I was wiping my ass for half an hour. Used half a roll of toilet paper. Just because my shit broke in half before it didn't come out clean. The turd broke in half. Douglas Chunk says, run this query in Google AI. How many satellites have fallen since the first one went into orbit? It says since 1957, over 60,000 objects have been launched into space, with more than half having already decayed and re-entered the atmosphere, burning up as fallen satellites. As of 2026, roughly 11,000 satellites are active, while thousands more defunct satellites and fragments remain in orbit, with 10 to 20 falling back to Earth daily. So 10 to 20 satellites fall back to Earth daily. That's newsworthy, man. Like, where's the fucking Nick Shirley of satellites, man? Where's the Nick Shirley of satellites? Fucking independent journalist chronicling this with his fucking camera and shit. Where's the satellite chasers that go around and anytime there's a satellite that fall and hit the Earth, they like, yay, here, I'm so-and-so with my camera, and look at this big dent in the ground with this big satellite sticking out of it. How can we never get that if fucking 10 to 20 of them are falling to Earth every day? Come on, man. And Grok is gonna get Grok and AI. They get the information from what's in the books or what's online. They get the information from what's being told. From they get they get information from the same channels we would get it from. They just get it faster.
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet. Which one of you was the plumber?
I'll take that one. I'm the space plumber. I'm proud to call myself the space plumber.
So the toilet got fucked up and the bitch cleaned it. Ain't that sexist? Ain't that sexist? The toilet got fucked up. Somebody took a shit. And we already seen the toilet. The toilet ain't even a fucking toilet. If you remember last night's show, they told us how they take shits up in space, man. They showed us how they did that shit, man. Some of y'all that wasn't here last night, but they showed us. I'm only gonna show you the shit part. How they take a shit. Because how they take a piss is disgusting. I'm gonna show you how they take a shit in space. Think about that. How you take a piss is disgusting. I'll show you how to take a piss. Let me show you how to take a piss. This is how they take a piss in space.
In case things go wrong with the hardware, not yourself, there's a WHC malfunctions cue card, and we thought of all the different light combinations and the failure modes, but the bottom line is, if there's a red light, we talk to the ground, and together we figure out the path forward. Okay, back to normal operation.
I can't hit that link. I can't even copy and paste that link. Boy Kachina. You gotta send it to me. AkantundeLive2@gmail.com. You gotta send it to me. I can't even hit that fucking link, man. Because some of my computer don't let me hit links on YouTube, on the YouTube chat.
Time to go. You take the valve and you turn it on. You hear the fan noise.
So a vacuum works inside of 0G. Does a vacuum work inside of 0G? Somebody got to tell me, can a vacuum work inside of 0G? Because you're supposed to stick your head in that motherfucker and piss. It's going to suck the piss down in there.
Check for airflow. I'll show you that there is, in fact, airflow. So a little bit of airflow, and that helps everything flow in the right direction.
If it's pressurized in there, why the fuck is he floating? Allegedly floating. Why is he allegedly floating if it's pressurized in there? You see the problem? It's pressurized in there. Well, then why the fuck is he floating?
Our simulator. And that's where your business goes. You're complete. You want to be a good crew member, so you make sure that you wipe off the excess. Use a disinfectant wipe occasionally or often, and then you simply turn the valve off. But I want to show you number 2 as well, so I'll leave it running and we'll roll right into that. Okay, when it is time to go, you flip this lever here and that lifts up the lid. The seat here is about 5 or 6 inches in diameter, and there's a plastic liner in there where your deposit goes. What I have here is green beans and mushrooms, and I do not like mushrooms, so I don't mind contributing this piece of food in the name of education. So pretend I ate this yesterday, and now it goes into there.
So think about it, right? That's got to be an uncomfortable shit, right? Could that be any more uncomfortable sitting on that? Like, this is raised. This rim around here is raised. This is a raised rim you're sitting on. Why isn't it like a depressed rim, like a bowl? Why does it have to be raised? You got to sit on that motherfucking thing. That shit, and that's got to be uncomfortable as shit to sit on that motherfucker. And then how do you sit when you floating? Is it a seatbelt on? See, this is where you guys got to think. Is there a seatbelt on the fucking Is there a seatbelt on the shitter? Because you float. Remember, you floating. We gotta always remember you floating. It's space. You floating. 0G. There's no gravity in space. So There's no gravity in space, right? Boy Katina says air pressure keeps you from exploding, not floating. Okay. All right. Fine. I just so explain this then. You taking a shit, you floating and shit, then you gotta take a shit and you just sit down. It ain't no seatbelt on the toilet or nothing. They need a seatbelt on the toilet, man. So you don't fly away, man. And your turd. What about the turd? How come the turd don't fly back up in the ass? How come the second the turd leave your ass, it don't float back up into your ass? Against your leg, against the bottom of your ass and shit. Turd just bobbing up and down against your ass cheeks. I'm just saying, man.
To clean yourself, and the wipes go into there as well. You take this red tab, you pull it off the rim, and depends on how full the container is. This one's about halfway through. We do have a stick, and you push it down in there with all its other friends, and then it's time to put a new bag on. To put a new bag on, you pull that, it's like a hair scrunchie, and get it all so it has max capacity there, and ready to go. Close it up. Close the lid. Now you've gone number one. Number two, you cleaned yourself up, and it's time to turn the system off. You just take this valve, rotate it to off. The fan spins down. The system checks itself. All the lights go out, and you're done. So congratulations, you've just used the WHC for the first time, and you've learned about the process. Hope it's educational, but I don't think it's going to lessen the amount of times I have to answer that question. Thanks for watching.
What a crock of shit. What a crock of shit, man.
Of you was the plumber.
And it just makes me feel like a little kid.
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet.
What about hurtling through space at a gazillion miles per hour, where you're just going to go up to the moon and fly around the moon and come back? Inside this tube with these four motherfuckers, inside this little pod with these other motherfuckers. What about that makes you feel like a little kid? Nobody's concerned about anything. Nobody's nervous. It doesn't make sense. You know, I'll tell you, Phil, it's been great up here, you know, but I'm a little bit nervous. You know, I've got a little, no matter how many times you do this, you never get used to it. You know, it's been a bumpy ride, and, you know, each one of you feel each one of those bumps, and then, you know, you get a little, your heart drops a little bit, but, you know, I'm a professional, and, you know, this is what I signed up to do. None of that. Just, oh, I feel like a kid. Oh, man, when we took off, I smiled. Oh, everything's been great. Like, what the fuck? At least give me that. Press 1. At least give me that. It's fucking, this is fucking odd, man. Salute the boy Gachin that says, air pressure keeps you. Oh, short bus driver says, one right fart is going to sink the mission. Yo, hell yeah, man. They were mutiny in that motherfucker, man. Don't let me be up there and fart, man. My shit be lingering, man. My farts be lingering. It ain't nowhere to let the fart out either. You in this little thing. So the fart contained, that motherfucker can't get away. That shit might stink for the whole 10 days, right? Think about it. Think about this, y'all. The fart is gas, right? A fart is gas, right? This is 0G, and we're talking about like a contained. This thing don't have no leaks in it, right? Because they're going to space, right? This thing don't have no leaks in it, right? There's no leaks in this. They're in space, right? If you fart up there, that motherfucker might stink the whole time. Where the fart gonna get out at? Where the fart gonna let it? If you fart in your house, the fart gonna get out through the pores in the wood, through the pores in the insulation, through the pores in the windows. It's gonna dissipate into the house because the house is big. This the size of a tent. This like a little tent that you see homeless people in under the bridge, under the overpass. And it's airtight.
Which one of you was the plumber?
I'll take that one. I'm the space plumber. I'm proud to call myself the space plumber. I like to say that it is probably the most important piece of equipment on board. So we were all breathing a sigh of relief when it turned out to be just fine. It was just an issue, I think, of sitting for a long time and needing a little time to warm up, a priming issue. But we did originally think that there could have been potentially something fouling up the motor. And luckily, we are all systems go.
Oh, well, I'm sure I could see the faces right there. Y'all are very happy about that. I see that you're very cozy in there. It's tight quarters, but it was also a little chilly, I heard.
It is quite cold, and yeah, we're wishing we had the lower temperature sleeping bags with us. But right before this PAO event started, I pulled my knit cap off, and I'm ready to put it back on. But Houston's been working with us.
Irrelevant details. Why wouldn't they have prepared for that? Why, if think about it, if they hadn't prepared for something that minuscule, like it's going to be cold up there, if they didn't prepare for that, there's no way they got the fuck. No way they're going to the moon, man. This ain't no tight ship. They didn't prepare for that. Really? He said, smiling like liars. Smiling like liars. It says, if it was fake, why didn't they prepare for it? Because it's not really happening. It's just some bullshit to make you say, oh, it's some shit to try to make it seem real. Like, hey, we got issues. It's cold up here, and we didn't bring our blankets. We didn't bring the right blankets. Fuck out of here, man. If you didn't bring the right blankets, how the fuck did y'all get off out of fucking orbit, man? It's bullshit, man.
Before this PAO event.
Other bullshit. There's no way that's the only thing that y'all did that NASA did wrong. And everything has to go right because look, everything's going right. They're just on here smiling, hurtling through space at a gazillion miles per hour. Everything's going right. So everything went right, but y'all forgot to give them blankets when they're going into space. And we know there's no sunlight around. Like the sun, of course, I guess in space the sun don't shine, right? The sun shine on Earth, but it don't shine in space, right? They're 116 miles away from space and the sun don't shine no more. Think about that, y'all. They're 116 miles away from the United States. I mean, from Earth. And the sun just stopped shining. 116 miles up. Sun don't shine no more. Just complete.
Quite cold, and yeah, we're wishing we had the lower temperature sleeping bags with us. But right before this PAO
Yeah,
event,
Len, this is offensive. I'm offended. A lot of people aren't offended. I'm looking at the poll. Make sure you take the poll. I'm looking at the poll. A lot of people are offended. But there's a lot of people, half the people believe this bullshit. Some people sitting on the fence, though. I will say that. It's a lot of people on the fence. But this is offensive, man. Yeah, this is stupid, man. Like, you ain't got to do this, man. But only reason they got to do it because they lied to deception. Anybody who's told a lie, you know that, like, you got to keep the lie going. You know what I mean? You got to keep the lie going.
I pulled my knit cap off, and I'm ready to put it back on. But Houston's been working with us to change fan speeds and temperature set points, and we've actually been able to warm it up a lot better in the last half a day or so. Our last nap before TLI, we got a lot more comfortable.
Well, that's a really interesting question. How is it that you take a nap in there? What does sleeping even look like?
Well, let's see. So we've been off the planet for about 30 hours now, and we've had 2 very short naps. We actually just gathered for our first meal together in space. That is how busy we have been the last.
Busy doing what? If you was busy, how the fuck you not busy now? Like, this is a 24-hour. Listen, bro. This is horse shit. They even faking the delay. They're even faking the delay between the guy asking the question, like, oh my God, it takes so long for the question to get here because we're hurtling through space. They're faking the delay between the guys CNN asking the question and them answering.
Well, let's see. So we've been off the planet for about 30 hours now, and we've had 2 very short naps. We actually just gathered for our first meal together in space. That is how busy we have been the last day and a half. It has been really an amazing beginning flight plan. But sleeping here is it's actually sort of comical. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of like a bat suspended from our docking tunnel. Victor's been up where Jeremy is right now. He's got a nice little nook wedged in there. And then Jeremy has been stretched out on seat 1, and I've been sleeping under the displays just in case anything goes wrong. It's more. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of like a bat.
So she's sleeping head down in the middle of the vehicle.
Amazing beginning flight plan. But sleeping here is it's actually sort of comical. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of like a bat suspended from our docking tunnel. Victor's been up where Jeremy is right now. He's got a nice little nook wedged in there. And then Jeremy has been stretched out on seat 1, and I've been sleeping under the displays just in case anything goes wrong. It's more comfortable than you would think, and it's nice. It's nice to sleep in weightlessness again. Every time I was dozing off last night, I had that image that I was tripping off a curb and I was waking myself up. So my body's getting reacclimated. It's been a few years since I've been.
Salute to Barry B, man. Shout out to Barry B. Barry B is in the building. Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again. This is stupid, man. Like, so the girl sleeping in the middle of the thing, hanging from like a stripper on a pole from the goddamn the girl sleeping right in this. Just think about this. They acted like they just really like once they took off, there's like, oh shit, where you gonna sleep? Oh shit, where you gonna sleep? That would have been assigned before they left. That would have been something that, like, sleep is the most important part of life, other than you got breathing. Breathing aside, right? You got eating. Well, no, water. Let me spell this. You need water, right? You need water, right? Water is probably the most important thing, right? Then I would say sleep, and then I would say food. These are important things, right? These are important things. They act like they just figured, like they was just, oh, all right, so I'm getting tired. Where you gonna sleep? I don't sleep here. I don't sleep there. There's no, like, yeah, it smelled like hella bologna in there. I feel sorry for that brother, man. Press one. That brother dying in there smelling all that bologna and wet dog, man. That brother in there, like, God damn, man. Smell like a kennel up in this motherfucker.
Plan, but sleeping here is it's actually sort of comical. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of like a bat suspended from our docking tunnel. Victor's been up where Jeremy is right now. He's got a nice little nook wedged in there, and then Jeremy has been stretched out on seat one, and I've been sleeping under the displays just in case anything goes wrong. It's more comfortable than you would think, and it's nice. It's nice to sleep in weightlessness again. Every time I was dozing off last night, I had that image that I was tripping off a curb and I was waking myself up. So my body's getting reacclimated. It's been a few years since I've been up here.
I've heard it's the best sleep up in space. Do you feel the weight of history knowing that you're going to be traveling farther than any other human?
Tag on.
You know, it's a remarkable thing. You would think it would be weighty, but we just feel like we're lifted up by the team that supports us, and you just sort of execute the plan. A lot of people telling us how to work this and manage this vehicle, and a lot of great training, and you just kind of go step by step, which I think is pretty remarkable what this team can do, and it really highlights their excellence.
Lynn says, my brain believes it. That's all that used to believe it for me, my brain. I just was told, like I was a kid. They told us that I told you, we watched the Challenger in the classroom. We got the space propaganda early. So I was, I always thought it was real. This shit is so obviously fake. This shit is so obviously fake. The only thing that makes it real is that they've told you all your life it was real. Other than the fact that they've indoctrinated you all your life from the time you were a kid that this shit is real, if you take that aside, what you're just watching right now, don't and think about it, right? Like, I'll even give you this, right? I'll give you space lovers this. Say every other mission before this was real. This is fake right here. Press 1. Even if every other mission was real, what we're watching right here is fake. Horse shit. Salute to Lynn, man. Lynn says, "Oh, bro, you said brother. Oh, your brother believes it. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people believe it. Most people believe this shit. Most people believe this shit.
And I think I just want to add, we just got done our translunar injection burn, and it was pretty tense moments there. For a second. And when we got done that burn, we just kind of looked at each other as a crew. We have been to the moon before in 1968 through 1972. It's been a long time since we've been back. And I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort. And we are not.
But they did it in 1969. They did it in 1969. Do you know what technology was like? Yo, they didn't even have a graphing calculator in 1969. You know the Texas Instrument graphing calculators we used to have in the 90s? They didn't even have that shit in 1969. DVD players was like in the 90s, maybe the late 90s, you started getting DVD players. Yo, the Walkman was invented in like the 80s, right? The Walkman. Well, remember that little Nintendo game, the handheld game? What was that called? Game Boy. Game Boy. Little Game Boy. That shit was invented in the 80s. These motherfuckers went to space in 1969.
Now just realizing the gravity of that.
Yeah, nothing normal about this. What are you most excited about once you get to the moon?
Having just experienced incredible views of.
So hold on. We couldn't hear what she just said to him until she put the microphone up to her mouth. She just said something to him, and we couldn't hear it, but he could hear her. Think about this. I want you to think about this, right? She just said something to him. We can't hear it, but he can hear it. There should be nothing in there that they can hear that we can't hear. And then when she grabbed the microphone, she started talking and we could hear it. Why is there anything that they can hear that we can't hear in there? If we have a camera in there. Think about that, y'all. If you have a camera somewhere, there's no sound that you can't hear.
Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
Yeah, nothing normal about this. What are you most excited about once you get to the moon?
And that's the fakest laugh I ever seen in my life. Have you ever seen a faker laugh than that? Doug Chunk says not all cameras have microphones. So they skimping on the cameras for this shit. They just spent $1 gazillion just on fuel alone, man. But they skipping on the camera. Hey, man, we NASA. We only get $8 gazillion from taxpayers every month. Go pick up the fucking camera at go to the pawn shop. Fuck it. Go to a pawn shop and see if they got any fucking cameras. Because we're NASA. This is horseshit. I need a scientist. I need somebody better than y'all. Y'all are shills. A lot of y'all are shills. I need somebody to tell me how the fuck this just happened.
Kind of looked at each other as a crew. We have been to the moon before in 1968 through 19.
So he's speaking into the microphone. We get to hear it. So how come if the if he speaks directly, he had to speak directly in the microphone for us to hear it. If they don't speak directly in the microphone, we can't hear it. How do they talk when we're not around? How do they talk to each other? Do they lip read? How do they talk to each other? Do they carry a microphone around and talk to each other? How do they communicate if we can't hear shit but they can hear it? Hold on, but they can hear it. Hold on, they can hear it, but we can't hear it. What the fuck? This shit is confusing. If they don't talk in the microphone, we can't hear it. They can hear what each other is saying, but it's silent to us unless they talking to the microphone. It's completely silent. It's not like faint. It's not like low. It's completely mute to us unless they talking to the microphone. The microphone is linked to their transmitter. Boy, Doug, you gotta answer for everything, man. And that's cool. I want to hear from you, NASA Shields, man. Half my business is pro audio, but again, what do I know? No, I mean, I got you, Doug. I got you, Doug. But what I'm saying is, so there's so what you're saying, Doug, is that the only sounds are audible that go directly into the microphone, right? Then how come other sounds are audible? If think about it, if they got to talk directly in the microphone for it to be heard, and we got a camera right there in the fucking spaceship, why can't it, like, how do they communicate with each other without the microphone? So no sound can be transmitted unless it's directly in the microphone. And how close does the microphone have to be to your mouth when you're talking? You said, surely I can't be serious? No, explain it to me like I'm 5. What I'm saying is, like, right, so this goes back to what Doug was saying. The camera doesn't have a microphone on it. The camera doesn't have a microphone on it, which is preposterous. You ever see YouTubers where they got the microphone sitting right there, but they could just talk into the fucking computer? Because my computer has a microphone, but I could come up here and have a microphone, right? And that's a wireless. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm just. I don't know, man. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's move forward.
1972. It's been a long time since we've been back, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
Yeah, nothing normal about this. What are you most excited about once you get to the moon?
having just experienced incredible views of planet Earth and seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane.
Seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane. What a specific thing to say. Seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane. One window pane. They're lying, y'all. I'm telling you, man. I'm Black Columbo, man. I'm on the scene, man. Shout out to my man Snake Plissken, man, buying me a coffee, man. Snake Plissken buying me a coffee. He said, all right. Okay, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. I'll definitely hit you up, man. I'll definitely hit you up, bro. Nasha is Hebrew. It means deception. Yeah, but I'm not blaming the Jews for this, man. See, blaming the Jews makes it seem like it's my doubt is part of some larger thing. Okay? When you bring the Jews into it, it makes it seem like, well, I would believe it if the Jews wasn't involved. Or I'm a Jew hater, so I'm trying to like make some connection. None of that, Brett Jack. What I'm seeing looks fake and sounds fake. I don't give a fuck about the Jews right now. What I'm watching, every second of this that I've watched, not saying that they didn't blast some tube into the sky. I don't think anybody was on it. What I'm saying is, and where did the rocket land? Why isn't there a bunch of media around where the rocket landed? And how did they control? It's tons of boats in the sea. How did they control where the rocket landed? Why is that not huge news? Anyway, okay, but if they ditched the rockets in the ocean, why is no media covering that? And I'm not saying that the rocket didn't leave. All I'm saying is that it's just weird that nobody covers the rocket that landed. Could it be that where it landed could tell about whether how far up in the sky it went? Like, I'm not saying it didn't land somewhere, because that we all saw something blast off into the sky. So of course, what goes up must come down. We know that. But where the fuck is it? And I'm not doubting that part of it, that something got propelled into the sky. I'm not doubting that part. I'm doubting that these motherfuckers aren't in the studio.
In the entire planet out the window in one pane, knowing that we're about to have some similar views of the moon in that same way is definitely getting me more excited for it. I knew that is what we would see, but there's nothing that prepares you for the breathtaking aspect of seeing your home planet both lit up bright as day, and also the moon glow on it at night with a beautiful beam of the sunset. And knowing that we're going to get similar views of the moon, I'm really excited for that. And then, of course, heading home. Right now, we're in our cruise phase outbound, but we'll be turning our sights back on our home planet shortly. Shorter, probably. It's going to fly by, but we're just excited for both of those milestones.
As you all know, there is so much division at home right now. What is it that you're feeling, and what message do you want to send to the American people about what you're seeing out that window?
Well, the first thing I would say is trust us. You look amazing. You look beautiful. And from up here, you also look like one thing. You know, Homo sapiens is all of us, no matter where you're from or you know, what you look like. We're all one people. And so, you know, this mission, one of the things that's amazing about being around and just being in an astronaut, you know, serving our countries at this time is that we get to give ourselves a mission that we can hold on to say, hey, look at what we did for the rest of our lives. You know, we call amazing things that humans do moonshots for a reason, because this brought us together and showed us what we can do when we put, not just putting our differences aside, when we bring our differences together and use all the strengths to accomplish something great. And so this mission will give us one of those that we all can remember and hold on to for the rest of our days. And I hope people will tune in and give us a chance.
Integrity, what an honor to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Integrity. This is Houston ACR. That concludes the ABC News portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Fox News.
Hey, 910 ready? Integrity, this is Trace Gallagher with Fox News. How do you hear me?
Hey, Trace, we got you loud and clear. How about us?
I've got you loud and clear. I want to explain to the audience that there is a 4-second delay, so there'll be some pause between the questions and the answers. Congratulations.
Okay, a 4-second delay. So that means that they shouldn't hear it for 4 seconds. So if they hear it at 3.5 seconds or 2.7 seconds, that's a problem. Press 1. Or they don't hear it for 5 seconds. It's a 4-second delay. And we know, so every time the guy at Fox says something, they won't hear it until 4 seconds later. Allegedly.
How does it feel to be the first humans to leave Earth's orbit in some 54 years? Is there a difference in Earth's orbit and being outside the orbit?
Okay, so it's at 11:38. 11:38 is the time when they said that shit. I want to show y'all this. 11:38 is the time when they said that when he said that shit, right? 11:38. So let's see when they answer.
Well,
6 seconds. 6 seconds later, they answered. Okay, I mean, you could say that they were thinking about it. Whatever, I don't know.
We are still technically in Earth's orbit, although we did just do our translunar injection burn, and so we are definitely 100% on our way to the moon. The lunar gravity will take over in a couple of days here and start pulling us around the far side. At the end of our translunar injection here about an hour and a half ago, we just really looked at each other, and I know the United States has done this 1968 through 1972, but it's just, this is unbelievable that we can put our...
Yeah, he keeps saying that. 1968 to 1972. You know how fucking retarded that is? That we did something technological in 1972 that they're still not going to the moon, right? So that we can't do now. They're going around the moon. You know how stupid that is? We did something in 1972 that we can't do right now. Does anybody just find that odd? Press 1 if you find that odd. You can believe this shit, But press 1 if you just find that odd. Even if you're a NASA shill, just press 1 if you find that odd. Shout out to Matt B, man. Matt B says, salute, this spacecraft is just another way to scam the taxpayer. Werner von Braun would be proud to see we are falling for it. Yeah, man. Salute to you, man. You're 1,000% right, man. This is crazy. This is bananas. Okay? This is bananas. We did something technological in 1972 that we can't do now.
Minds to something and pull it off. This is an unbelievable technical accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, it really is unbelievable to us. We watched this thing. It was just this flawless launch, and it was unbelievable to watch. And what really fascinates me about this is that you, in a few days, will become the first humans to travel the farthest in space, more than anybody else has ever done. It took us a long time to get back here, and now we're about to exceed that. Is that a moment of pride? Is it a moment of history? How do we feel about that?
It's great you brought that up. We were aware that we would pass that milestone if we happened to launch on this date. There were other days where we wouldn't have necessarily. So we are not necessarily a crew that lives on superlatives, but it is a milestone that's important. It's important that people can understand and wrap their heads around what is the latest in what we're doing. What does this mean relative to what we've done in the past? What are we going to be pushing for into the future? We think that the journey that we've been on and all of our teams have been on with us is so much more than just one number. But we also hope that that number just keeps being exceeded and exceeded by the future crews. That's why we're here, to build a legacy for the future.
You know, it's interesting because yesterday, I mean, this thing went off almost perfectly, right? It was on time. Was that surprising? Because, you know, you look back just in recent history and missions tend to be delayed, sometimes hours, sometimes days. This thing went pretty much according to what everybody was hoping it would do. Was that somewhat surprising when they said we are a go for launch?
Yes. You know, it was surprising. I think we were, you know, we like to say that we're prepared without having an expectation. But, you know, in the back of your mind, you kind of hope you launch. And then when we got really close, it was like, wait, we're getting ready to go to space. And when those solids lit, you know, it was a ride where you're trying to be professional, but the kid inside of you wants to break out and just hoot and holler. But what I wanted to say about that was, our exploration ground systems team, our launch control team, they have had some time to practice since February and March and really dial in their procedures and learn and grow. And so I just want to give them some credit. It was an example of how hard they've been working lately that we launched. And it was, even though we didn't get to really watch, but it felt beautiful.
Yeah, they should give themselves a big round of applause because it really, I know it felt beautiful. It certainly looked beautiful. Very quickly, Victor Glover, while I have you on the microphone, we are broadcasting across the nation, but we're focused. We're based in Los Angeles. And I thought since you were from Southern California, maybe you'd like to give a shout out to your friends and family here.
Oh, well, of course. My mom lives there, my grandparents, all the cousins, aunts, and uncles, and just everybody in California. Thank you for all of the support and the love for all of these years. So many of my career milestones happened in that special place that will always be home, no matter where the government sends me. You're going with us.
How has it been? Yeah, how has it been on board now for your first night? I know you haven't gotten much sleep. They keep waking you up. They kind of send out the songs they are doing. And I hear, Christina, that you are somehow sleeping upside down or face down. Maybe you can explain that to us.
Sure. Yes, it has been a great couple of days just learning how to live in Orion. And I would love to give a quick shout out to our families before we keep going on with the questions, just because we haven't had a chance to say hi to them. And it's just so great to have had their support building up to the launch, and we miss you guys already. Living in Orion isn't quite the same as being at home with our families, but yes, some of the exciting things are the burns that we do. They kick off with such an acceleration that most things that you see Velcroed around that aren't actually fastened down all fall down to the floor of Orion. But speaking of floors and ceilings, it actually is just all by convention only. There is no difference between up and down. And so, yes, I've been sleeping with my feet there and my head down here, and it's very comfortable. I think I'll probably stay there the whole mission unless someone kicks me out. So we're finding out how to make this space capsule a home.
Maybe we can hand it to Jerry Hansen here. And Jamie, you can also say hello, give a shout out to your family. And I'm wondering, while you do that, if you'd like to tell us if there have been any glitches, any problems. I know we heard there was some kind of an issue with the onboard toilet, but beyond that, are we good so far?
Yeah, great to have a chance just to say thanks to my family and missing them, and for the support from Canadians back home. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here and do this. We did have another little surprise today. I mean, the vehicle is in great shape, and we feel like everything's going really smoothly. But on our way to the translunar injection burn inside of 20 minutes, we did get warning message that emergency message for cabin leak suspected, which grabs your attention because this is right when you're coming through some of the higher density orbits and you might run into something. And you go from 20 minutes to doing this burn where you're going to head to the moon to thinking about, are we going to cancel this burn, start getting in our spacesuits, and then trying to figure out how to get home in a day or less. And luckily, that was just a little anomaly. And the Houston helped us out. They confirmed they were seeing good cabin pressure, as were we on board. And we did the burn. And now we're on our way to the moon, feeling good about Integrity. She's a good ship.
It's going to be fantastic. Reed Weissman, you are the commander of this mission. Maybe you'd like to give a shout out to your family as well. And I'm wondering, the responsibility, does it weigh heavy on you? Do you feel like, I'm just not going to go to sleep. I'm going to make sure that we do everything we need to do. What is it like to be the commander of something so historic and something that people have been waiting for so long?
Well, to answer that, I'm learning from my crewmates here. I'm flying in space with two of the most skilled astronauts that we have, most accomplished astronauts. And Jeremy, on his first day in orbit yesterday, was just getting the job done 100%. So my job here is pretty easy. Definitely sometimes you get a little bit nervous. There's a couple things that caught our attention so far, but it's going great. And my job is very easy. I am definitely getting pulled along by my crewmates. And then you gave me the opportunity. I'm taking it. Say hi to my family, my parent, my dad back in Maryland, and my brother probably heading home to Washington. And then everybody back in Houston, my daughters, my girlfriend, everybody's doing great back there. Thank you.
Salute to Boykachita. He says, was the V2 rocket fake in the 1940s while smacking London around? It reached space on the way, and we stole its scientists like von Braun. I mean, like I said, man, I'm not doubting that they launched something into space. Well, it's not in space, something into the air. Right? We all saw that. I don't think these people are on whatever thing they launched. And I don't think whatever they launched is going out into space. I think they just launched a rocket in the air and then poof, like we can't see it no more. Now they're like doing all this from the studio. And all these fucking psychopathic liars are in on it. And I don't think the black people stuff, including the black people, is necessarily a grift. I think including the black people in the woman and the person, the guy from Canada, one's from Canada, one's a woman, one's black. You know what I mean? That's just normal bullshit, like woke shit. You know what I mean? That's just normal woke representation. You know what I mean? Representation matters and shit. You know what I mean? But not the real musicians, man. Not the real people, real players, real people in the office building, not whatever. Like this whole thing about checking all these boxes with the astronaut group. Why would you have to check boxes with an astronaut group? What are you checking boxes for? If you're going to the moon, it's serious. Going to the moon is so serious. It's 250,000 miles away. And the only route is a route that nobody has traveled. None of these people ever traveled this route before. So you're going on an uncharted route in space where you're not flying, you're just floating in a vacuum and shit. The last thing you would be thinking about is checking boxes. Everything would be about completing the mission or making sure every loose end, every possible thing that could go wrong was covered up and yada, yada, yada. You wouldn't be thinking about checking boxes. You wouldn't have time for that. It wouldn't even concern you. He said, NASA's been woke since before we knew what woke was. Yeah, I know that. I know that they've been, they had the black astronaut on Challenger. When the first time he posted that died on Challenger. The black astronaut was supposed to be on Challenger. He died. Whatever.
I guess really lastly, what we really need to know is, are you happy so far with the food? Are you happy so far with the wake up songs and the music? Any kind of request that we can make on your behalf while we get a chance to talk to Mission Control a little bit later? We get a chance to talk to Mission a little bit later.
We just had our first meal.
That was a glitch. That wasn't supposed to happen. So if we can't hear them without the microphone, how could we hear that without the microphone? How could we hear that without the microphone? How could we hear that without the microphone if we can't hear them without the microphone? Some sound came up out of like a speaker on the fucking thing. It didn't come out of mic. That's a microphone. The sound didn't come out of that. That's a microphone, right? The sound came from somewhere else. How did we hear that if we can't hear them unless they speak into the mic? I'm just asking. How could we hear that other sound? Sound is sound. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Sound doesn't care whether the sound came from your mouth or from anything else. If it's in a medium where it can't be heard, no sound could be heard. That sound was not from the microphone. That sound was came from something else. No, but they paused when it came from inside the spaceship. Look.
I guess really lastly, what we really need to know is, are you happy so far with the food? Are you happy so far with the wake up songs and the music? Any kind of request that we can make on your behalf while we get a chance to talk to Mission Control a little bit later? We get a chance to talk to Mission a little bit later.
We just had our first meal together. That's how busy it's been. And this morning, our lead public affairs, Courtney Beasley, we heard her voice come on the radio first, and she introduced the songs and some amazing messages from the teams across this international program that have put this vehicle together. And we all agreed we would wake up slow and get into the day easy and quiet. And this morning, we all got up cheering and rocking and getting everything ready to go. It was the perfect way to start our day.
Yeah, well, you are making history. Reed Weissman, Christina Koch, Jeremy Hansen, Victor Glover. Congratulations to all of you. America, the world is with you. We are watching every moment of this journey, and we will cheer you when you get back and along the way. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck to you, and safe travels.
Integrity. This is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
And thank you to all participants. Integrity, we're now resuming operational audio comm.
And those of you who are joining us by phone can press *1 to get into the question queue. And with that, we'll start with Lori.
Great. Thank you, Rachel.
Oh, shit. Boy Kachina says, Bowen got woke to get this contract. Biden bid. Tim, Time to Repent says, bruh, move on to Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. Y'all want to hear Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, man? Y'all want to hear me talk about Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane? Press one if you want me to talk about Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. If y'all tired of this, man, this nasty stuff, man, just tell me, man, and I'll move on to another topic. But I gotta hear the people. Let's hear from the people.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to be able to tell you that for the first time since 1972, during Apollo 17, human beings have left Earth orbit. With Artemis 2's successful 5-minute and 50-second translunar injection burn this evening, our 4 crew members, NASA astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, are now on their trajectory toward the moon. The burn was executed by our flight operations team here in Houston, and it was flawless. The burn was the last major firing of this mission. From this point forward, the laws of orbital mechanics are going to carry our crew to the moon, around the far side, and back to Earth. Our crew is healthy, and our spacecraft is performing really well. After we've had a series of checkouts since launch, and again, everything really performing pretty well. And we are on the path that we designed for this mission. But just a reminder, again, you can hear us keep saying it over and over again, this is still a test flight. We are getting, and we're going to continue to get, lots of new data every day, important information as we continue learning how we're going to operate this Orion spacecraft in the actual space environment. And I'll tell you, we're already learning a lot as we go. We've encountered several things along the way. We're not really tracking anything right now that's of concern, but anything that we've encountered since we've launched was brought to our mission management team today and discussed, and the satisfactory path forward on every case, and a unanimous decision to proceed forward with the go for the translunar injection burn. So you'll hear a little bit more about some of that here in a minute, all the things that we've been doing. As a reminder, we got 8 days of work ahead, and we intend to learn as much as we can, everything that we can that this vehicle can teach us. And with that, let's see, before I do that, we had a couple images we wanted to share. Let's see if we can pull some of those up. I wanted to share one of my favorite images. This one I saw last night. Actually, I was getting onto the plane to fly here from Florida. this one popped up, and I just absolutely love this one. Looking out the window, you can see the solar array wing there and the OMS engine from the Orion spacecraft, and then you can see Earth's crescent in the back. I just thought it was absolutely gorgeous with our crew members being able to see out the window there and get that photo. It's just absolutely beautiful. And then the second image I wanted to show you, you'll hear a lot more from Howard about the proximity operations demonstration that was conducted yesterday evening. And let's see, is that one going to come up?
It's coming back.
It's coming back. There it is. And in this image, you can see.
Why didn't they put the camera out the window when we were watching them? When they were on the phone with Fox and ABC, why didn't they put the camera out the window then? Why are we watching pictures that somebody in the crew took of out the window? Where are the stars? But I guess no stars are there. No stars? No stars? Whenever you look into the sky, you see stars. This is still the sky. Where are the stars at? I don't see one fucking star or one satellite. You know what the problem is with stars? Is that they would have to match. It's too many people, astronomers out there, that would be like, hey, wait a second, at this time in the world, that star would be in this place. There's too many astronomers that know where the stars are. Astronomy is the study of stars from Earth, right? So there's too many people on Earth that study the stars. While faking this shit, if they show stars, people will be like, wait a second. There's too many astronomers out there. They'll be like, wait a second, that star's not supposed to be there at this particular time. You know what I mean? And so they just said, fuck the stars. Don't even put the stars in there. Because the stars cause too much trouble. The stars cause people to start asking questions, astronomers and shit. Like, why is that star right there? That star wouldn't be right there from that angle. If they're right there, blah, blah, blah.
Beautiful. And then the second image I wanted to show you.
That's not going to be a problem henceforth. And then let's see, the ICPS then gave us a great amount of energy, put us in high Earth orbit with the apogee raise burn. Again, right down the money. So really happy with that burn. After that, as Lori mentioned, Victor did the ProxOps demonstration. And gave us a lot of great feedback on how the vehicle responds in preparation for future rendezvous operations. So very valuable data. We also checked out all of the carbon dioxide scrubbers. All 3 beds successfully checked out, and CO2 is doing great in the vehicle. We did once we were done with the ProxOps demonstration. The ICPS on its own did the automatic deploy of the 4 CubeSats, and then also ICPS did its disposal burn, and so that all went well. In the middle of the crew sleep, we also had them wake up and do the perigee raise burn. And,
all right, man,
that was,
that's enough of this, man. This is horse shit.
GLS, go for area left.
Great call out. The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch. Roger, roll pitch.
Houston, now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston saying good performance on board main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce on. Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce on. Have you the same?
Communication signal.
Let's see. It was a case out of Brooklyn where a little girl got shot, man.
In other headlines here tonight, despair for a young mother and father. Their 7-month-old baby killed after she was hit by a stray bullet in Brooklyn. The infant in her stroller at the time in East Williamsburg along Moore Street. As Naveen Dhaliwal reports, the search is now underway for at least one of the suspects.
It's the moment a mother realizes her 7-month-old baby girl has been shot. She's
Holy
seen it jumping
shit.
up and down.
Wow. They were in the store. They were in the store, and a stray bullet came through the store and hit. Wow. Hold on, let me read this. Read this one. He said, see where NASA budget money went? Pooh shitey. See. Boy Kachina says NASA bought in 1966 was 4.2% of the U.S. budget. In 2023, it was 0.5%. That's why we aren't using a more comfortable ship for the mission, man. You know how much money 0.5% of the U.S. budget is? It's enough to get a nice ship, man. What are you talking about, man? We'll get back to the NASA stuff if you want to. Y'all want me to? I'll get back to that. This woman in New York. This is a sad case. It's been going on for a few days, but we've been doing the NASA stuff, so I haven't gotten to it.
In other headlines here tonight, despair for a young mother and father. Their 7-month-old baby killed after she was hit by a stray bullet in Brooklyn. The infant in her stroller at the time in East Williamsburg along Moore Street. As Naveen Dhaliwal reports, the search is now underway for at least one of the suspects.
It's the moment a mother realizes her 7-month-old baby girl has been shot. She's seen jumping up and down in panic. For the family's privacy, we're not showing their faces.
When she looked to the stroller and the baby is bleeding, she go crazy.
The family had to run to a bodega for cover after gunfire erupted around 1:20 p.m. 2 men on a scooter passed through the intersection of Moore and Humboldt Streets.
The male sitting at the rear of the moped can be seen taking out a gun and discharging at least 2 rounds. Our 7-month-old victim was sitting inside one of these strollers when she was struck.
The baby was taken to the hospital where she died. Detectives say the suspects took off only to crash their moped head-on with a car just 2 blocks away.
That's hilarious. I love this right here.
Taken to the hospital where she died. Detectives say the suspects took off only to crash their moped head.
Oh, I want to watch that in slow motion, man. I want to watch that in slow motion, bro. I want to watch that in slow motion. You gotta watch that in slow motion, man. This is too funny, man. You gotta watch this in slow motion, man.
Suspects.
Black and Hispanic. The shooter was Hispanic, and the driver was black. Boom. He gotta have broken his leg or something. He gotta have fucked his leg up or something. This one right here.
Custody on an unrelated charge as he's being questioned in the shooting. The driver of the moped charge as he's being questioned in the sitting in the rear is now in custody on an unrelated charge as he's being questioned in the shooting. The driver of the moped abandoned the scooter and is still on the run. Mayor Mamdani calling this a dark day.
There are no words that can mend the heartbreak.
Why does he always look like he's smiling and shit?
Family is feeling now.
He always look like he's about to smile and shit.
Heartbreak this family is feeling now. No embrace wide enough to heal the hole that has been left in their lives.
Police say the shooting was gang-related. They're still trying to determine the motive behind the gunfire. In East Williamsburg, Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS News, New York.
It's a story you'll only see here on 12. A mother and son watching the moments the teenage boy was attacked after school by a group of 3 knife men, brought to tears after realizing they were trying to stab him in the neck. Police still on the search tonight for that trio. News 12's Mike Lamort has the story tonight.
Hugo Reyes and his girlfriend were just trying to get home yesterday after school, but police say these masked men had other plans for the young couple. One of them running by with a knife can be seen trying to stab the 16-year-old in the neck before chasing the high schoolers down the block. Hugo ran home as fast as he could, knowing it could have meant life or death.
Take my son away from me for no reason.
The teenager and his mother watched the attack in horror as we gathered surveillance video, believing Hugo's attackers were on a mission that afternoon to kill him.
I don't even know their name. I don't know what school they go to. They probably don't even know me.
Hugo and his family now left with more questions than answers. Back at the scene of his
Fuck the nigga, man. What is it called when a Puerto Rican fucks a nigga, man? Is it a goddamn salsa shark? Is she a salsa shark? Is she a salsa shark? Or what the fuck is that called?
Probably don't even know me.
Hugo and his family now left with more questions than answers. Back at the scene of his unprovoked attack near 2560 East Tremont Avenue.
What's in your head to go harm somebody that has not done nothing to you?
The aspiring mechanic says he's lucky to be alive, showing us his wounds while he was at the hospital. The knifeman was fast, but Hugo's jacket caught most of the blade.
Thank God I'm here today to talk to my mom, laugh and cheer over my mom, talk to my siblings and stuff.
Hospital, and 2 stitches later, his family is calling on other kids to stay alert.
Please be aware of your surroundings. I could have been right now planning for a funeral for my son.
A family relieved to be together tonight, but seeking justice as police search for Hugo's attackers in Westchester Square.
Jesus Christ, man. Living around niggas is tough, boy.
And suspect after a 7-month-old baby girl was shot and killed in her stroller. Tonight, new details about the alleged gunman in custody and the baby girl's heartbroken grandmother. Speaking to Eyewitness News.
She said they shot Kiori in the head. I'm devastated. You understand?
And good evening at 5 o'clock. I'm Mike Marza.
And I'm Sade Better-Anwar, and police say that 7-month-old baby girl was caught in the middle of a fight between rival gangs. Her brother was also grazed.
Authorities announcing murder charges against the suspected gunman who was arrested after crashing a moped just a few blocks from the scene yesterday. But a second man remains on the run.
Just a horrible tragedy for the baby girl's family. Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore is live at the scene in East Williamsburg. This is just heartbreaking, Crystal.
Ricans aren't black. Ricans aren't black, Benjamin Gelman. Some Ricans are black. Some Ricans are mixed. Some Ricans are Indians. This whole Puerto Ricans is black is bullshit, man. Some of them are. Some of them are mixed with black. Majority of Puerto Ricans are fucking whites mixed with Indians. Or just whites. That's like saying all Americans are black. That's literally how fucking retarded that statement is. Americans is black. We got the same racial makeup as Puerto Rico. Except for the Indian part.
Yeah, Sade and Mike, good evening. You walk into the grocery store and you can see people embracing each other. So they are definitely here in this community grieving with the family tonight. As you mentioned, that second suspect still on the run at last check. But the man police say they do have in custody has been identified as 21-year-old Amori Green. He's facing murder and attempted murder charges. Behind me, you'll notice that there's a growing makeshift memorial at the scene of this shooting. The family tonight speaking out.
She was just learning how to take a few steps. She was starting to talk. I seen her 2 days ago. I went to the doctor's appointment, and she was smiling.
Linda Oyenkonyen recalls the last time she saw her 7-month-old granddaughter, Kaori Patterson Moore. The infant fatally shot while she was in a stroller with her 2-year-old brother on Humboldt and Moore Streets.
Damn, it was 2 kids in the stroller.
Police say the gunman, identified as 21-year-old Amari Green, unleashed a wave of bullets, forcing the family into this deli for cover. The surveillance image capturing the moments mom finds out Kaori was hit.
My boss brought me into her office, and then she called my oldest daughter, and then my oldest daughter told her, and she was silent. I said, "What happened? What happened?" She said they shot Kaori in the head.
Oh, in the head. Wow.
Devastated. Authorities say Kaori's father rushed her to Woodhull Hospital where she died. Oyenkonyen tells us Kaori's 2-year-old brother was grazed in the back. Police today announcing charges against Green, who ended up in the hospital after he and a second suspect crashed the moped they were riding shortly after the shooting.
Amari Green, the trigger puller, who is currently in the hospital, will be arrested and charged with murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. We have also identified the driver of the scooter, but I will not be releasing his name at this time.
Back at the scene where a makeshift memorial grows outside the family home, community leaders urged anyone with information to come forward.
Today, I'm announcing that
$5,000 that the Crisis Action Center, myself, is putting up a reward for the arrest and conviction of this thug.
As the family tries to heal, they focus on good memories.
She'll crawl in my arms, crawl into your arms.
And to the suspects, they offer this.
We forgive them.
They forgive them. What the fuck?
Good memories.
She'll crawl in my arms, crawl into your arms.
And to the suspects, they offer
Yeah, I knew he broke some shit the way he felt.
this.
We forgive them.
And police say
Whoever
that
seen No Country for Old Men? Anybody seen No Country for Old Men? This reminds me of the last scene from No Country for Old Men.
suspects, they offer this.
We forgive them.
And police say that Amori Green is currently undergoing surgery for a broken leg he sustained in that moped crash yesterday. Apparently, he has no police history, arrest history, according to police. He's a known gang member out of the Marcy houses. Police also say that there is a gang that operates out of the Bushwick houses where the victim's father lives. Authorities are trying to determine if there is a connection as they continue to search for the second suspect. For now, we are live in East Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Crystal Fanmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
But we begin tonight with the shooting death of that 7-month-old baby girl in Brooklyn. Neighbors out in the streets tonight searching for the gang member wanted in her death.
With why they're not afraid to do this. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Safan Kim.
Love yourself. Stop the violence. Love yourself. Stop the violence.
Outside her family's home at the Bushwick houses, a plea for peace.
Love yourself. Stop the violence.
Across the street at the bodega, where 7-month-old Kaori Patterson Moore took her last breath, promises to avenge her death. Residents in East Williamsburg clutching images tonight of the suspect cops are hunting.
I'm prepared today, myself, I prepared my own self for people like this one. You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to the child, you gotta snitch. But if you don't snitch or rat out, you don't have no soul.
They're talking about the man seen here driving this moped. It crashed 2 blocks away from where the man in the rear, 21-year-old Amari Green, allegedly opened fire into a crowd of people yesterday. Both men were thrown from the moped. Green was taken into custody at the hospital and charged with murder and 2 counts of attempted murder.
When I went to the hospital, I saw her lying down there. I had to see her. That was really, really heartbreaking.
Kaori's grandparents say she was in a double stroller sitting next to her 2-year-old brother. They say he was grazed in the back by the same bullet.
Wow.
He's asking me, saying, sister, sleep, sister, sleep.
Investigators now believe that bullet was meant for her father, who was with his family at the time.
We know that he is a gang associate out of the Marcy houses.
Wow, the dad was the target. Dad was the target. Oh, god damn. Shooting at that nigga. You know, that's gonna be like, man, we shoot at nigga. We don't care if you with your kids. We don't give a fuck if you with your kids, nigga. We gonna shoot at you. Nigga hit the kid, killed her. That motherfucker, these motherfuckers, good. They'd have been better off hitting him. They would have hit him, they would have got, you know what I mean? They would have hit him, they could have, and you know, he could have survived, or even if they killed him, they wouldn't have got as much time as they're going to get for killing this baby.
Right now, there is a gang in the Bushwick houses called MOE, and we're looking to see the possible connection between a beef between the Marcy houses, Bushwick houses, meaning the gang MOE.
We have also identified the driver of the scooter, but I will not be releasing his name at this time.
As for Green, the alleged triggerman, he is undergoing a surgery today for a broken leg that he sustained in that crash. His arraignment is pending. He has no prior arrest. He was being investigated, though, as part of a robbery pattern. In East Williamsburg, Safan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
You.
And developing right now at noon, a deadly discovery in Coral Springs after the city's vice mayor was found dead in her home.
And new here at noon, her husband appearing in court today. He is facing a murder charge after being taken into custody in Plantation. Let's go to Local 10's Jeff Dedarian.
He's outside of the Broward jail in Fort Lauderdale with more.
Is he grieving or guilty? The husband of the vice mayor of Coral Springs now facing charges of premeditated murder. And that's not all.
Mr. Bowen, good morning, sir. You're charged with 1 count first-degree premeditated murder. You're also charged with 1 count tampering with or fabricating physical evidence.
55 seconds. That's how long the bond hearing lasted this morning for Stephen Bowen. Standing silent, his lawyer does the talking. Murder and messing with physical evidence are the charges. Sky 10 hovers over the neighborhood Wednesday afternoon. A quaint neighborhood 1 minute, a crime scene the next. And not just any crime, cops say. A murder. The lifeless body of Vice Mayor Nancy Mateo Bowen inside her own home.
This is being investigated as a domestic violence incident. Her husband, Stephen Bowen, is in our custody.
Cell phone video shows another scene about a dozen miles away. The area quickly engulfed by law enforcement. An apartment complex in Plantation. Sources, people we trust, telling Local 10 this is where they nabbed the husband.
From Coral Springs to here, in this particular area, is insane.
Onlookers surprised and saddened once they heard the news. Detectives doing what detectives do, looking for clues and evidence. Some cars towed away from the parking lot that could be linked to the investigation.
We looked out the window and SWAT cars, cop cars, everything just everywhere, guns drawn.
Memories of Mateo Bowen.
He knew where to go. He went back home to the plantation. He ended up right back where it started.
Flooding social media, and she's being remembered for her public service and putting people first.
There are no words that can truly capture the depth of this loss or the pain this organization and community are now dealing with.
Mr. Bowen, I am going to hold you without bond on count 1.
And so a husband stands in the center of it all. A life gone, a story that doesn't quite add up yet. Was it love turned deadly? For now, we just don't know. Now, if you or someone you know is in danger or maybe feels unsafe because of a possible domestic violence situation, we've got a number on the screen that you can call, the Florida Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 1-800-500-1119. 1-800-500-1119. Now, as far as the husband goes, he's being held without bond at the Broward jail. Jeff Dedarian, Local 10 News.
Into the death of Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Mateo Bowen continued today with her husband officially arrested in her killing and facing a judge. Local 10's Terrell Forney is live in Fort Lauderdale with new details in this case. Terrell?
And Nicole, among those shocking allegations, police allege that this man killed his wife, the vice mayor, and slept in the same home in the overnight hours. He is now under arrest and being held here at the Broward County Jail without bond. Sky 10 up above as crime scene detectives were spotted still working the Coral Springs home where Vice Mayor Nancy Mateo Bowen was killed. And police say it was all at the hands of her own husband, Stephen Bowen.
Mr. Bowen, good morning, sir.
The 40-year-old appeared before a judge today on charges of premeditated murder and tampering with physical evidence. An arrest report says cops performing a welfare check at the home found Nancy's body wrapped in blankets and black garbage bags in the bed of the second-floor master bedroom.
Would anybody else from the public like to be heard?
The vice mayor was noticeably absent from Wednesday's city commission meeting, which raised alarm bells among her colleagues.
Initially, I just thought maybe there was just, issues trying to deal with work and whatnot. And so we led the meeting.
Stephen Bowen was eventually cornered by cops at an apartment complex in Plantation, where they found his F-150 pickup truck. In fact, police towed away several vehicles tied to the case. It's also where officers handcuffed and arrested Stephen. Investigators believe that Bowen also visited this home in Lauderdale Lakes after the shooting to drop off a rifle to an unsuspecting uncle and to allegedly make a startling admission. Bowen explained that he shot Nancy 3 times with a shotgun the previous night and then slept downstairs, and that Nancy was rolled up in a comforter with a garbage bag around her feet. When asked why, Stephen Bowen said that he couldn't take it anymore.
In her mouth, man. That bitch had a mouth on her. Sometimes men like that, man. Bitch, you talk too much, man. You could drive a nigga to kill you. Women don't understand that. You could talk your way into getting killed. Black women talk too fucking much. They nag too fucking much. They talk to men like black women talk to men like dogs. You know what I mean? Black women literally talk to men like dogs. Now, I haven't had much experience with white women, but do they do the same thing? Do white women do the same thing? But I know black women talk to you like a fucking dog, man. Straight up, and run her mouth all fucking day and never shut the fuck up. Never, ever shut the fuck up. Never admit that she wrong. And sometimes dude can't take that shit no more, man. Dude can't take that shit no more, man. Some dudes can't take that shit anymore. It's like, yo, bitch, shut the fuck up. Especially if you married too. Like you married, like is you tied to the bitch. Let me show y'all some shit, man. I'm gonna show you some shit.
Four signs of a controlling wife that most people overlook. Number 1, she micromanages everything.
From how he loads the dishwasher to how he disciplines the kids, nothing is ever quite right. What looks like being helpful is often the deep fear that no one else will follow through.
Number 2, she interrupts or speaks for her husband in conversations.
It sounds subtle finishing his sentence or correcting a detail, but over time it tells him, I don't trust you to lead, speak, or represent us well.
Number 3, she praises him in public, but nags him in private.
Outwardly, she looks like a supportive wife, but behind closed doors, there's constant correction, frustration, and unmet expectations.
Number 4, she handles everything because he doesn't.
She plans everything, books everything, carries everything, but instead of empowering him to step up, she won't let go.
4 signs.
I could kill my wife in 2 seconds. I could hit her as hard as I could in the face and she'd die, right?
Bare hands, yeah.
Bare hands. I could clobber her in the face and she'd die if I never took her to the hospital. She has to live with that every day.
Yeah.
She can't do that to me. So I have a duty to treat her a certain way that because she's vulnerable to me, I have a duty to treat her a certain way. And that is where like men, I think, miss the point is like, you have an obligation and a duty to go chase her and make her feel special. I could kill my wife in 2 seconds. I could hit her as hard as I could in the face and she'd die, right?
Bare hands, yeah.
Bare hands. I could clobber her in the face and she'd die if I never took her to the hospital. She has to live with that every day.
Yeah.
She can't do that to me. So I have a duty to treat her a certain way that because she's vulnerable to me, I have a duty to treat her a certain way. And that is where like men, I think, miss the point is like, you have an obligation and a duty to go chase her and make her feel special. I could kill.
A lot of people miss what he's saying.
The Bible warns wives, stop disrespecting your husband in front of your children. Proverbs 21:9. It is better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a nagging wife. Definition of nagging: complaining or finding fault, usually to force them to perform a task. It's repetitive and unproductive. This is one of the bluntest scriptures. God is telling us wives something serious about the atmosphere of our home. And one of the fastest ways to damage that atmosphere is when we start disrespecting our husbands publicly, especially in front of our children. Because when children see dishonor between their parents, it doesn't just affect the marriage. Let me show you 3 things scripture teaches. First, respect creates security for your children. Proverbs 31:11-12. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will not lack anything good. She rewards him with good, not evil, all the days of her life. A husband should feel safe with his wife, especially inside his own home. Today, that looks like your husband says something at dinner, immediately correct him in front of the kids. Or he shares an opinion, the kids see you roll your eyes at him. Your children are learning what marriage looks like by watching you. So I encourage you, protect your husband's dignity in front of your children. 2, your
Think about, why would anybody have to say that if this wasn't a big problem? Press 1. If this wasn't a big problem, why are people making these videos?
Fellas, a woman doesn't treat you how she treats her father. She treats you how her mother treated her father. Fellas, a woman doesn't treat you how she treats her father. She treats you how her mother treated her father.
A nigga ever had to tell you, let's have a good day today, babe? You is a crazy bitch. A nigga had to wake up and remind you to not be on that bullshit, bitch, you is nuts. A nigga ever had to tell you, let's have a good day today, babe? You is a crazy bitch. A nigga had to wake up and remind you to not be on that bullshit, bitch, you is nuts. A nigga.
Okay? So yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't have to make these videos if this wasn't a problem. Back to this shit.
Truck. In fact, police towed away several vehicles tied to the case. It's also where officers handcuffed and arrested Stephen. Investigators believe that Bowen also visited this home in Lauderdale Lakes after the shooting to drop off a rifle to an unsuspecting uncle and to allegedly make a startling admission. Bowen explained that he shot Nancy 3 times with a shotgun the previous night and then slept downstairs, and that Nancy was rolled up in a comforter with a garbage bag around her feet. When asked why, Stephen Bowen said that he couldn't take it anymore. Condolences have been pouring in from around the state for the trailblazing politician.
She's probably one of the most sincere.
How is she a trailblazing popular? I know they're not about to say she the first black vice mayor or some shit. Like, come on, every city got a black mayor. She was just a vice mayor. Why are they talking about trailblazers? How the fuck is she a trailblazer?
Pouring in from around the state for the trailblazing politician.
She's probably one of the most sincere public safety servants that I have met, not just over the last 7 years, but throughout my entire lifetime.
And that was Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney, who, of course, worked with the Coral Springs Police Department as a sergeant. This was in the years before Nancy Matera Bowen was elected to her position on the commission. Nonetheless, we know that these condolences, they continue to pour in. There is a candlelight vigil that is planned for tomorrow night outside of the Coral Springs City Hall. One more note we should add, that even though police allege that Stephen Bowen made some admissions to a family member about what he did not do the same thing with detectives. In fact, he declined to speak with detectives, according to these officers, and he opted for a lawyer. So again, this investigation is still ongoing. We are live in Fort Lauderdale tonight. Terrell Forney, Local 10 News.
The FBI arrested 9 people in connection with a violent robbery and kidnapping at a Dallas recording studio. Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Investigators say the main suspect, a Memphis rapper known as Pooh Shiesty, held a group of musicians at gunpoint during a dispute over a recording contract. Fox 4's Alex Boyer is live with details. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Clarice, this is certainly a crazy story. According to that complaint, he, along with his father and 7 others, traveled to Dallas back in January to go to a recording studio to meet up for a purported business meeting. But once there, the rapper allegedly held a record executive at gunpoint over that record deal dispute.
From rapper to accused kidnapper, Lontrell Williams Jr., known as Pooh Shiesty, seen here in his YouTube video, is under arrest for allegedly assaulting the owner of his record.
Look at this nigga, man. Got a bank, got a wad of money on his head. These niggas are fucking retarded, man.
His YouTube video is under arrest for allegedly assaulting the owner of his record label, New 1017 Records, during a purported business meeting in Dallas back on January 10th. At the time of the incident, he was on house arrest for a previous unrelated crime.
Niggas are the only ones that carry cash. No one even carries cash anymore. This is we're turning into a cashless society. If you take street niggas out of it and rappers and shit.
Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint.
Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators lured the 3 victims to a Dallas recording studio. The gist of it is this: Williams wanted out of his contract with New 1017 Records, which is owned by fellow rapper Gucci Mane. Federal investigators say Williams pointed an AK-style weapon to the head of the victim, identified in the complaint by his initials RD, and forced that person to sign a release to his recording contract. Gucci Mane's real name is Radrick Davis, which matches the victim's initials. The group also reportedly stole expensive watches and jewelry from the victims before taking off. Investigators say they posted these pics on social media.
One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness.
A picture of one of the victims' injuries was also included in the federal complaint. The co-defendants include another Memphis rapper, Big 30, and Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's dad. Our sister station in Memphis was there on Wednesday when the FBI executed a search warrant on the senior Williams' home. Dad reportedly set up the meeting between his son and the victims. Neighbors reacted to the early morning raid.
I heard them say, you know, come out with your hands up. We've got a warrant.
Our office collaborated with multiple law enforcement agencies and other FBI offices to carry out this investigation that ultimately led to these arrests.
Meanwhile, the FBI says it is still searching for one more suspect believed to be in the Georgia area. I can tell you that the defendants face a wide range of charges, including kidnapping and robbery.
I mean, what more can you say, man? Niggas went straight to social media. They went straight to social media after the shooting, man. I mean, like, the fuck. It's imposed with the... Let's see, Pooh Shiesty. I put that in there earlier, Pooh Shiesty. And the other rapper allegedly snitched, so that's what everybody's talking about now. That the other rapper snitched. the rapper who got robbed snitched. That's what everybody's talking about now. Leave it to the black community to...
Also tonight, a very dramatic story. You gotta listen to this one. Justice Department is laying out some details about this crime involving some big name rappers. Gucci Mane, and 2 other industry pros who were apparently kidnapped and robbed, according to the Justice Department, by Pooh Shiesty, by Big 30, along with some others. A total of 9 suspects have been arrested. So here's what we know. These DOJ officials say Gucci Mane was lured into what was a fake business meeting in Dallas at a music studio that turned into what they called an armed takeover, where Mane and these others were held at gunpoint. This is back in January. They got robbed of their Rolexes, their cash, their jewelry. At one point, Gucci Mane was even basically forced to sign a release from a record label. Priscilla Thompson is joining us now. It is wild stuff, Priscilla. What else happened?
Yeah, Hallie, unbelievable, made for the movies kind of stuff. So Pooh Shiesty is signed to Gucci Mane's record label. So this business meeting was scheduled in January at a recording studio in Dallas, and Pooh Shiesty shows up with 8 other people. You mentioned Big 30. Also, his father was among those with him, and Gucci Mane shows up with 2 people. They're all in this recording studio together. Pooh Shiesty says to Gucci Mane, "Can we speak privately?" And he allegedly, according to this complaint, asked Gucci Mane to sign a release form that would release Pooh Shiesty from the record deal. Gucci Mane declined. They argue back and forth. Pooh Shiesty asks someone to bring him a bag and pulls out an AK-style pistol, according to this complaint, and demands that Gucci Mane sign this document releasing him from the recording deal. After that document is signed, then he goes on, Pooh Shiesty, to steal Gucci Mane's wedding ring, other jewelry, his wallet. And then the small group of individuals goes back out into the larger group that's in that recording studio. And apparently all 8 of the other men who were with Pooh Shiesty pull out guns and began demanding property from Gucci Mane and the men who were with them. So we're talking about Louis Vuitton bags, Rolexes, cash, wallets. There's even physical altercations where there are photos of people with scratches. At one point, the complaint says that there was a man who had a gun put to his head, and they believed that they were all going to be executed. But they were allowed to leave eventually. And then this investigation took place where you have all of this surveillance video in and around the recording studio, the hotels, the rental cars that were booked. And you also had some of these people posting.
Look, they went to social media and posted themselves with the jewelry that they robbed. They went to social media and posted with themselves with the jewelry they robbed literally hours later. Like hours later. Not like a week later, hours later, like literally hours after the robbery, they went to social media and posted themselves with the jewelry. And Pooh Shiesty just got out of federal prison in December. This happened in January. Pooh Shiesty just got out of federal prison in December. And he was on house arrest. He had an ankle monitor on, but he drove to Dallas from Memphis to do this.
In and around the
And
recording.
these ain't kids too. The guys who did this are in their 20s and 30s. The guys who did this crime are in their 20s and 30s. These aren't teenagers that did this crime.
Executed, but they were allowed to leave eventually. And then this investigation took place where you have all of this surveillance video in and around the recording studio, the hotels, the rental cars that were booked. And you also had some of these people posting the stolen goods on social media. But what's more, Pooh Shiesty was, according to this complaint, under home detention. So there's electronic evidence that he was at that recording studio when he should not have.
Your ankle monitor is a GPS system. So they have him at the scene of the crime via his ankle monitor. They have him traveling from Memphis to Dallas via his ankle monitor.
Then he should have been at home. So obviously these arrests were made. We know that 8 of the 9 men were arrested and have been charged with all 9 of them, though, charged with kidnapping and robbery. Hallie?
Can I just ask one question, Priscilla? I don't know if we know the answer to this, but presumably if Pooh Shiesty had been under home detention, he would have known that, right? That there was an electronic monitoring situation happening on him?
100%. And in fact, Hallie, according to the complaint, there was a conversation with his parole officer who said, "You are not where you're supposed to be." And Pooh Shiesty said he thought he had permission to leave and told the parole officer that he would be returning home.
We thank you for watching, and remember. We have some new developments tonight as federal investigators are still searching for a ninth suspect in a case involving Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane. Authorities say that he was kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint.
8 people are already under arrest across 3 cities, Memphis, Nashville, and Dallas, after what prosecutors call a coordinated armed takeover. 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido is in Atlanta with more on what was supposed to be a business meeting.
Was never about music. Federal prosecutors say that this January meeting in Dallas, Texas was a setup from the very beginning. Prosecutors say that Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane was lured to this music studio by rapper Pooh Shiesty, and what was supposed to be a business meeting immediately turned into an ambush.
If you choose to do this, we will bring you swiftly to justice.
Lured in, then held at gunpoint.
Executed a coordinated armed takeover.
January 10th at a recording studio on Dallas Parkway. Radrick Davis, who's better known as Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane, agreed to meet rapper Pooh Shiesty. The Memphis rapper, legally known as Lontrell Williams Jr., was signed to Gucci's record label 1017.
Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover.
Prosecutors say Williams wanted to get out of his contract and brought a group with him to that meeting, including Memphis rapper Big 30, also identified as Rodney Wright Jr.
Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness.
Pictures tracked down by the DOJ show the suspects flexing stolen jewelry, Rolex watches, and cash on social media. 8 of the 9 suspects are now under arrest after surveillance video, cell phone data, and tracking devices helped identify them. In Memphis Wednesday, federal agents were seen at Pooh Shiesty's home. Those arrested with him include his own father, Lontrell Williams Sr., caught on surveillance video at the recording studio. They all face federal charges of kidnapping and conspiracy.
No matter who you are, we will fight every day alongside our partners to make our communities safer.
And tonight, the Department of Justice in Texas tells us that they're working with federal investigators here in Georgia to try and find this 9th suspect. We did reach out to federal officials here in Georgia. They said that they're declining to comment on this pending investigation. We're in Atlanta tonight. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
Well, Lontrell Williams Jr., a.k.a. Pooh Shiesty, was just released from federal prison last October after serving 3 years for shootings in Florida. And you can watch that entire
He got out in October, but he got out from the halfway house in December. Served 3 years for a shooting in Florida. And immediately did this shit in January. And as soon as they did it, they posted it online. And it's like, you can't even be surprised, man. You can't even really be surprised, man. It's niggas, man. It's niggas, man. And they talking about Gucci Mane snitched because they talking about Gucci Mane snitched.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas.
World famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV.
Okay, for those who may not know, a couple of months ago, it was rumored that Pooh Shiesty had allegedly robbed Gucci Mane. Okay, apparently Pooh Shiesty wanted to get out of his contract. Okay, there were rumors about Yo Gotti offering Pooh Shiesty 10 mil. But again, no video to confirm these rumors. However, moments ago, it was reported, as you've seen in the video, that in fact, Pooh Shiesty, along with his father, Big 30, and several others, held Gucci Mane hostage, okay, held him at gunpoint, forced him to sign paperwork to release Gucci Mane. Okay, now again, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so you can check out the paperwork in its entirety. But this is crazy. Okay, like I said, these rumors made its way on social media a couple of months ago, but you know, right now, social media, they're reacting to these reports. Apparently, like I said, Pooh Shiesty, very frustrated, asked to be released from 1017. Gucci Mane denied the request, and immediately Pooh Shiesty pulled out the AK. Okay, one thing led to another. Like I said, this whole situation is crazy because again, the individuals involved, right, after forcing Gucci.
Now, I will say this. If I got a $10 million deal on the table, and the only thing between me and that $10 million is you releasing me from my contract, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna see red, man. I'm a Sun man too. I ain't gonna lie. If I got a $10 million contract on the table, and I come to you and I say, hey man, I just came home from jail, did 3 years in the joint. This dude got a contract. This dude gonna give me $10 million to you know, can you let me out of my contract with you? And you say no, yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be upset. I ain't gonna lie. Be very upset. And listen, I don't have a bunch of goons around me. I don't have I pretty much roll solo right now, so I don't have a bunch of goons with me with guns and Dracos and AKs. So I can't, you know, put myself in his shoes because he got goons on deck. You know, he like a gang leader in Memphis, right? So he like got a whole gang behind him, and you know what I mean? So you can never say what you would do unless you're in that person's shoes. But it's still a crime. It doesn't matter. It's still a crime. Yeah, what else could he have done? He could have gone legal. He could have sued, or he could have, you know what I mean? But this is usually the way it's done in the rap game. Intimidation. Like, this is usually the way you get out of a deal. And the rap game is different than, you know, rap R&B is different. Anything, these are black people, right? So it's a little different than, but yeah, I'm sure there's other ways to get out of a record deal. But it would take time too. It would take time. It ain't gonna be immediate. It's gonna take litigation. And how long is that gonna take? How much is that gonna cost? And then what if the arbitrator or the judge don't see it your way and say you still gotta, you know, you guys still gotta honor the contract? I'm not faulting Pooh Shiesty for being upset. I'm faulting him for putting this shit online, for posting the jewelry online, man. I'm not even, you know, necessarily mad at him for reacting angrily and violently. If somebody said, yeah, man, I got a deal for your YouTube channel. I'm gonna give you a YouTube deal to make $10 million this next, you know, $10 million. I'm gonna give you a $10 million deal for YouTube, but you gotta No, they said I'm gonna give you a $10 million deal for your content, but you gotta get YouTube to release you. I'm going down to YouTube headquarters, man, to be like, hey man, can y'all release me? I'm emailing YouTube every day. Hey man, I need y'all to release me, man. I got another platform that want to give me $10 million, man. I mean, that shit is common sense. I mean, shit. You got a $10 million deal on the table, man. You gotta get me, because he was signed to a 360 deal under Gucci, man, and them 360 deals are like, you know, just enough to buy a chain and to, you know, look fresh and shit, and you know, a couple cars or something maybe, but you're not really wealthy. You just like get to look like you're wealthy.
To sign the paperwork on camera, apparently robbed Gucci of his jewelry and others. Okay, another individual, again, he was choked. You know what I mean? They said an individual was choked unconscious. Like I said, all of the details will be featured in the link I'll leave in the description, but there were photos released, okay, from the situation. Like I said, this is very shocking because, again, Pooh Shiesty is on house arrest, okay? I didn't want to believe that this man would be this reckless, right? Because again, how could you get away with something like this and even forcing Gucci to sign this paper, right? At you know what I mean? While guns are being drawn down, I mean, this is not going to work when it comes to business, okay? And apparently other individuals who robbed Gucci, right, and the individuals that were with Gucci, apparently, man, they started showing the jewelry on social media. Listen, this is crazy. All right. Now, of course, like I said, social media right now, they're devastated at the fact that Gucci Man would even be caught lacking in a situation like this. But the more you look into the situation, you realize this was a plan put in place. Okay, here's some of the pictures released showing the individuals involved in this robbery, kidnapping, you know, showing off the jewelry, pretty much telling on themselves. I mean, you know, this had to be the plan. This is the part that I was shocked. I didn't want to believe that this man would be this bold and stupid, okay? Regardless if you're frustrated about the contract that you have with Gucci Man, you can't go about it in this manner because now you have no career and no freedom, okay? Now, this is also a picture of one of the victims who was choked unconscious, okay? He was one of the individuals with Gucci Man as well because, again, there's this whole conversation about, you know, Gucci Man telling on Pooh Shiesty and Big 30. Now, moments ago, Waka Flocka, he reacted to the reports of this whole situation involving Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Man, and this is what Waka had to say. Man, y'all out y'all effing mind if you think I'ma celebrate WAP's situation, if though we ain't on one accord. None of my business. Carrying on. All right. Now, moments ago, 50 Cent, Mr. Petty himself, he reacted to people calling Gucci Man a snitch for identifying Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, and others in this robbery. Okay. Moments ago, 50 Cent in his post, he said, damn it, man. I thought you were smoking on Pookie Loke. Stay tuned for the next episode of Only in Atlanta. All right. Now, like I said, a lot of people are still reacting to the controversy involving Gucci Man, Pooh Shiesty, his father, Big 30, and others involved in this kidnapping / robbery. All right. Now, initially, when I heard the rumors, I didn't want to believe it, right? Because, again, Gucci Man is the one who gave Pooh Shiesty the opportunity, right? And, again, this is after we heard the controversy involving, you know, Gucci Man and Big Scar's funeral. But like I said, you know, if it wasn't for Gucci, me, myself, I would have never heard about Pooh Shiesty, right? So now, after all these years being, you know, locked up, he comes home. People are excited to see him home. And, you know, who would think that he would risk his freedom, right? And ultimately ruin his career, because that's exactly what just happened.
Hey, man, when you got a bunch of gangsters around you and you got to look tough and you got to constantly look tough. One thing about black dudes, they got to constantly look tough. Press 1. Black dudes got to constantly look tough. When you're a black dude, you gotta constantly look tough, man. You gotta constantly be down. And it ain't just rap, it's just black people, man. If you from, listen, look at this shit. Let me show you this shit.
Redneck Tom Sowell point that I tend to avoid because I don't know what to do with it, which is in the black community, there is a value placed on being a badass motherfucker. Some of this is that a critical mass of people salute these men for the resistance. The idea being that that's the black thing. You don't put up with any shit. I don't know what to do with that. Does it come from hillbilly culture? Probably. Are there cultural differences among people? Yes. And that clearly is an element in the water in black culture. Crazy motherfucker. Okay. Richard Pryor in the benign sense. But then it comes out with this business of resisting arrest and people saluting it as an indication of your masculinity, that you're kind of saluting black oppression in the past. Are we supposed to say that black men need to get over that? And then the question is, would there be a point? It's kind of like saying that people need to stop using the N-word as a term of affection. You know, you can have a nice panel about it, but it's not. I remember once I was talking to a black audience in DC, and I was suggesting that, you know, this business of going to pieces every time somebody uses the N-word, one way that we might get past that is to just stop going to pieces and have the pride to understand that some word cannot make us cry. And it wasn't a tough session, but one black guy said, well, I hear what you're saying, brother, but, you know, I'm a tough motherfucker. I like to get up and get angry. And he stood up and the whole room starts clapping, especially the women. And I get it. I understand the humor. I understand the cultural strain. You know, I'm not that deracialized. But the other side of that is something like Ahmaud Arbery trying to take the gun, or I've already said it, Dante Wright trying to jump into the car instead of just standing there and taking what he was about to be given. He shouldn't have been killed, but still. And if the idea is going to be it's the proper black thing to resist and how dare you kill somebody when they do it, there's just nowhere to go from there. And yet I can tell part of it is the idea that to resist arrest is to be a soldier, that's what somebody with balls does. That's the black thing to do. He's not some namby-pamby white guy who just says, yes, officer. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know whether there's any point in saying that something should change. I'm not a badass motherfucker, clearly. And so I'm certainly not the one who's going to say, stop acting like one. I don't know what to do with it, but clearly it's part of it. It's the black guy's thing to resist.
Well, John,
I don't know.
I'll tell you, I'm working on the memoir. I really am, John. I'm trying to catch up with you. Maybe if my book sells more than the sum of your books have sold, I will feel like I have pulled even with you. I'm praying. I'm praying. I'm just kidding. But I am in the grips of writing the memoir. So here's one thing that I've discovered about myself, and this is by way of supporting what you just said about badass motherfuckers. So in the 1980s, I got into trouble with cocaine. I got into trouble with an extramarital affair. I was in the habits of roaming the streets of inner city Boston, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, buying drugs, hooking up, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The most benign of it was playing chess until 3 o'clock in the morning on a street corner with a guy called Eddie, who used to make his living by selling little trinkets off of a tabletop in front of a Korean greasy spoon. Me and Eddie were buddies, and he loved to play chess. He loved to play 5-minute chess, and we'd get out there and we'd play. But that was the most benign of it. I was hanging in the hood with my peeps. I'm a professor at Harvard, hanging in the, you know.
He was a professor at Harvard University while he was doing this shit. Think about that. This dude was a professor at Harvard University, hanging out in the projects, slanging drugs, using drugs, fucking hoes, and all that leading a double life.
So here's one thing that I've discovered about myself, and this is by way of supporting what you just said about badass motherfuckers. So in the 1980s, I got into trouble with cocaine. I got into trouble with an extramarital affair. I was in the habits of roaming the streets of inner city Boston, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, buying drugs, hooking up, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The most benign of it was playing chess until 3 o'clock in the morning on a street corner with a guy called Eddie, who used to make his living by selling little trinkets off of a tabletop in front of a Korean greasy spoon. Me and Eddie were buddies, and he loved to play chess. He loved to play 5-minute chess, and we'd get out there and we'd play. But that was the most benign of it. I was hanging in the hood with my peeps. I'm a professor at Harvard, hanging in the, 35 years old, hanging in the hood with my peeps. 37 years old, 40 years old, hanging in the hood with my peeps because I was a badass motherfucker because I could negotiate a seminar room over in Cambridge at the Kennedy School of Government by day and a housing project where just about anything you wanted could be purchased for a price by night. And no one was the wiser. I was a badass motherfucker. I was like Superman. I would go into that telephone booth and I'd put on my uniform, cock my hat to the side, pull my collar up, get my walk together, get my slang, my code switching thing, you know how it is. And I could hang. I was authentically Black. John, you wrote a book with that title. I was authentically Black because I could hang in the hood. Now, how fucked up was that? Okay, that's why y'all need to buy the memoir. W.W. Norton and Company, spring of 2022. How messed up was that? So I am familiar with the syndrome. All right, I know.
Okay, so niggas, man, listen, man.
Right, this plan of luring Gucci into this room and holding him with the gun drawn to force him to sign the contract. I mean, come on, this is janky business at its finest, and it's unfortunate because again, whoever came up with this plan, listen, y'all are crazy. The only man that will give him a shot, an opportunity, you're gonna rob him, right? You know what I mean? Force him to have to sign the document, then rob him of his jewelry. I mean, come on. Several others involved. I'm seeing a lot of people say Gucci is somehow a snitch. I mean, come on. This man was on house arrest, all right? They have so much evidence to prove exactly what happened. I mean, again, these individuals are that bold and to think, right, or that bold to think that they could get away with something like this, all right? I'm shocked that they weren't arrested the same day because, again, the man was on house arrest. Like I said, this whole situation is crazy. And of course, Gucci Mane has a reputation for himself over the years, considering the whole Pookie Loke situation. However, this man is running a label, right? He can't take it to the streets because then what happens if something happens to Pooh Shiesty and those involved? Now Gucci Mane is, the one being arrested, right? For the attempt, attack against, getting revenge against those who robbed him. Like I said, in the end, when it comes to the situation, Gucci Mane has to go about it a certain way, and he can't take it to the streets because, again, everyone lose, right? And even Gucci having guns drawn on him, I don't see a situation where...
I don't even think Gucci snitched. I think it was the white dude. I think, listen, when he should have got Gucci alone, man. He should have called a meeting for Gucci to be alone. Press 1, man. Gucci had, a couple dudes with him. One of the dudes was a white guy who was in security. Another dude, I forgot, but he had people who weren't like into all this nigga street shit, right, with him. And they got robbed too. They got assaulted. They got choked out. If he wanted it to stay street, he should have set up a meeting with Gucci by himself or Gucci with some other street guys. He did this around Gucci in some squares. Gucci has squares with him because he's coming to a business meeting. When you come into a business meeting, you bring your accountant, you bring your, you bring business people with you. And then he pulled Gucci to us. He said, Gucci, I gotta talk to you in another room, right? And then he robbed Gucci there, right? And then they came back into the other room where everybody was at and robbed the rest of the people. Had he just robbed Gucci by himself, I think he would have been fine, because Gucci has Gucci is a type of person that his image and his whole essence is built on being an authentic street guy. But when you came back out the room after you robbed Gucci, pulled him to the side, after you robbed him, you came back in the other room where everybody else was at and robbed them and assaulted them. And they don't care about the streets. They're not street people. They're not rappers. You said nobody had to snitch? Yeah, exactly. Nobody had to snitch, but blacks are making a big deal about the fact that Gucci's name is on the paperwork. That's all blacks are talking about now. You know what I mean? That's all blacks are talking about right now.
Oh my God. So paperwork has officially come out in this Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty situation. The official criminal complaint has dropped. You know, I got a copy of it right here. Y'all know how I do. And man, boy, this thing is interesting because we had people saying Gucci Mane told on Pooh Shiesty. And this paperwork right here seems to confirm that notion, right? So I ain't gonna waste no time with this one right here. I'm trying to get it out. You can see we got the sealed file right here. It was filed March 30th. It's the criminal complaint. It says the complaint in this case states that on or about January 10, 2026 in the county of Dallas, the defendants violated Code Section 18 USC 1201 A and C, which is kidnapping conspiracy to commit kidnapping, right? It does have a brief introduction, and apparently this affidavit was in support of the application for the criminal complaint, right? So it says, Brittany Garcia, that's the FBI special agent that was other individuals who have participated in this investigation. Okay, it names all of the people that were arrested. And
yeah, think about that. There's no way that Gucci and his associates would know all the members. This dude brought a bunch of gang members with him. There's no, I don't know. Maybe Gucci does know all of them. I don't know, but maybe he does. I don't know.
Including Pooh Shiesty, which is Lontrell Williams Jr., his dad, and Rodney Wright, which is Big 30. And then it gets right into it, right? So I want to bring y'all's attention right here to the very first page, probable cause. It says on January 10, 2026 at approximately 4:50 p.m., victims who will be referred to throughout this affidavit by their initials or collectively as the victims, and it's got some initials here, RD, MM, and BP, were kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint at a music studio located on Dallas Parkway in Dallas, Texas. And RD, people are assuming stand for Roderick Davis, which is Gucci Mane's real name, right? It says at approximately 1 p.m. on January 10th, the victims flew into Dallas, Texas alongside RD's head of security, referred to in this paperwork as CW, and other security officer that's referred to in this paperwork as TD, for a scheduled business meeting between RD and Pooh Shiesty, who has been signed
So
to a recording
he brought
contract.
security with him, and you held the security at gunpoint and robbed him. That's a security firm. Gucci wouldn't have to snitch. All he would have to do is be like, yo, after the security firm called the police and said what happened, of course he was there. All he got to do is say he was there. Yeah, I was there. He don't have to give no statement to end up in the paperwork. He was there. He didn't have to give a statement to end up in the paperwork. It's a security. They robbed a security firm.
For RD's music label 1017 since approximately 2021. So if there was any doubt that this is Gucci Mane, there isn't now, because I mean, what other RD is gonna own 1017, right? It says Gucci and Pooh Shiesty were scheduled to meet because Pooh Shiesty was upset with the terms of his contract and wished to be released from his contractual obligations. Pooh Shiesty had asked Gucci Mane to come to Dallas on this date so they could meet about business. At approximately 1:45, the security guards and the victims of this crime arrived at the scheduled meeting location, which was a music recording studio located within a larger office building. When the security and the victims entered the office building, they realized the recording studio, owned by an individual known as JN, was closed. While they waited for the studio to open, the five went to a liquor store and purchased liquor and plastic red Solo cups before returning to the studio. Pooh Shiesty's dad called JN, the owner of the studio, multiple times on the day of the meeting. At approximately 2:53, JN answered the phone and learned that Pooh Shiesty's dad was attempting to book a recording studio that afternoon for Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane to record music. At around 3:15, he opened the studio for everybody, and investigators later collected and reviewed surveillance video captured at another business location in the same office building on the same floor as the recording studio, which shows Pooh
So
Shiesty's
Pooh Shiesty and they're bringing other people into it. They booked this guy's studio to do the robbery in. Why would you book a studio? Okay, so I guess you just set him up because you probably think Gucci probably you want him to be, relaxed. You don't want him to be like, you don't want to say meet me under the overpass or meet me in the alley. You want to say, hey, we booked some studio time, but you still bring other people into it. And that's going to be a witness. The studio owner or the director of the studio is now a witness. He's going to get a subpoena to come testify. And they're going to subpoena his videos. They're going to subpoena his surveillance cameras. Then they're going to subpoena his phone and his computer to see what the correspondence between you and him was. I really don't even know if Gucci snitched. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know if Gucci snitched. Not that I care. I don't care that he snitched. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter one way or another to me if he snitched. But judging from all this, I don't know if he snitched. I just think he was there. So they got to put him on the paperwork. He was there. Whoever was there is going to be labeled as a victim.
Outside of the office building at approximately 3:27 p.m. on January 10th. Pooh Shiesty's dad appears to be speaking with someone on his cell phone before entering the building at or around 3:28 p.m. At approximately 3:30.
Yeah, look at all this. Look at all this they got, man.
39, an employee of the studio arrived to assist with production, probably an engineer. It says when the employee arrived, Pooh Shiesty's dad and him were standing at the back door of the office building, engaged in what appeared to be an argument over the phone. At approximately 3:43, Pooh Shiesty, his dad, Big 30, and a bunch of other people entered the office building. The target suspects, that's everybody that was arrested, walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the office building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Right, I got some pictures here. It says the 9 individuals entered the studio's control room, where inside the victims were watching a football game. One of the security guards was positioned in the studio lobby, while another one remained in the vehicle that they arrived in. Depicted below are photographs of the studio lobby, the studio control room, and the studio recording room, taken from the Dallas Police Department body camera and crime scene photographs captured from the night of the offense. It says that the victims overheard Pooh Shiesty talking on his cell phone, potentially with a probation or parole officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. From what the victims could hear, Pooh Shiesty was informed that that was not the case and that he needed to return immediately. So
he's talking to his probation officer on the phone who's telling them, hey, man, I didn't let you leave the state or the city or whatever. I didn't let you leave the jurisdiction. Get back to Memphis now. They're in Dallas. He said, get back to Memphis right now. That was a blessing. That was God sending that, man. What's the odds that your probation officer going to call you right before you're going to do some dumb shit? Press 1. What's the odds that your probation officer going to call you right before you about to do a robbery? Like you setting the robbery up, the dude's coming in and your probation call you. Hey, man, get back to Memphis now. I'm looking at your GPS. It says you're not in the city. It says you're in Dallas because you got a GPS on your ankle, dummy. Get back now. And you still go through with the robbery. When I did that before, I got slammed, man. When I got blessings like that, yeah, he gonna end up getting life, man. When I got blessings, or he gonna get 25 years or something like that, maybe. He might get 25 years, right? When I got warned before I did some stupid shit and did it anyway, I literally got slammed for it. Anybody else been through that situation? Where you got warned, a blessing, an angel came and warned you not to do some shit, and you did it anyway? Who ever been in that situation? Because I've actually had that happen.
He agreed. It says that he was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Pooh Shiesty was on house arrest. Gucci told Pooh Shiesty that they could reschedule their studio session, but Pooh Shiesty requested to speak with Gucci Mane privately in the attached recording room. Gucci agreed. They entered the recording room. It was him, Pooh Shiesty's dad, and Big 30. Meanwhile, MMMPP remained in the control room with the 6 other individuals and continued to watch the football game. It says one of them offered to share the liquor that they had purchased with the target suspects, and at least 2 of them accepted. Inside the control room, Pooh Shiesty produced purported contract termination or release paperwork from a bag and told Gucci Mane to sign. When Gucci declined, Pooh Shiesty became agitated and they started to argue. 2 of the guys that were there could see inside the recording room and initially believed that Gucci and Pooh Shiesty were just discussing business. But as MM saw the conversation intensifying, he texted one of the security guards who was still in the music studio's lobby. As the argument inside the recording room ensued, Pooh Shiesty instructed Big 30 to get his bag. Big 30 complied, leaving the recording room before returning with a bag. Pooh Shiesty then pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at Gucci Mane, demanding that Gucci sign the contractual release paperwork. Gucci complied, signed the paperwork for Pooh Shiesty while his dad and Big 30 stood by. Gucci was not allowed to leave the recording room while he was being held at gunpoint by Pooh Shiesty. It says that Big 30 pulled out a cell phone and started to record Gucci Mane signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Pooh Shiesty from the contract.
They recorded it. They recorded it themselves. Listen, man. I guess they wanted to make sure that it wasn't that, it was legal, I guess. Like, hey, man, this isn't a forgery. This is really Gucci's signature. This ain't a forgery. But still, man.
After the release was signed, Pooh Shiesty took Gucci Mane's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and the cash that he had on him. So, everybody was wondering, did Pooh Shiesty, rob Gucci Mane like forcefully? Was it him that did it? And apparently, according to this special agent, it was. It says after Gucci signed the contract.
That's a good point right there, man. That's a hell of a point you just said. He said, if Pooh Shiesty forced Gucci Mane to sign a paper to release him from his label, Gucci has to report that to the police because he does not know what he signed. He might have signed his business over to the dude or something. That's a hell of a point. I didn't even think of that myself. Like in that high pressure situation, somebody just give you a fucking contract You ain't reading that shit. Motherfucker tell you, sign right here on the dotted line. Give you a big ass, contract, bunch of pages and shit, and just say, sign right there, motherfucker, at gunpoint. Yeah, you ain't reading that shit. You're not reading all the fucking bullet points in there. You don't know what the fuck you just signed. You could have signed over, you could have signed over your fucking house and shit. That's true. That's a great point, man. That is a phenomenal point. Salute to you, Waylon Perez, man. God damn, that's a good point. But still, niggas, fake street niggas and real street niggas, they all gonna be like that snitching. You gotta come back and kill Pooh Shiesty or some shit like that. Like, that's the only way to handle it. Come back and kill Pooh Shiesty and go to prison for the rest of your life. That's the only way you can really do it. Niggas. This is the way niggas are, man. Like you said, bad motherfucker syndrome, man.
Actual release paperwork. Pooh Shiesty provided the paperwork to his dad and asked him if the paperwork was good. His dad advised that the paperwork needed to be dated, so Pooh Shiesty then forced Gucci to add a date next to his signature. As Gucci, Pooh Shiesty's dad, and Big 30 exited the recording room, the remaining subjects that came with them produced handguns or AKAR style pistols and began to demand property from everybody that was in the room. It says this guy BP was pushed onto the couch in the control room where the individual known to BP as CMO Damn Fool searched his pockets and stole his wallet, his chain, and a necklace bearing the moniker 1017 were stolen from his neck by another subject he knew as Glizzy 375. And during the robbery, this Glizzy 375 guy threatened to shoot this guy for moving, but Pooh Shiesty instructed him not to. It says BP further identified an individual he knew as Baby Slime 375 as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, this guy Baby Slime 375 possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both MM and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as this guy Waters, as also being involved with the kidnapping or robbery, possessing a firearm and holding them at gunpoint. It says that this one guy was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping or robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist. It says that he was robbed of his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag that contained multiple other high-dollar watches, Apple AirPods, and his wallet at gunpoint by one of these guys. It says that he confirmed that his Louis Vuitton bag, AirPods, and wallet cache had an Apple AirTag, which is a location tracking device, attached. As the altercation inside the control room ensued, Wright walked over to the studio door to the lobby, closed it, and blocked it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. That's Big 30. It says CW and TD, the victims' security guards, watched Big 30 barricade the door and attempted to force their way into the control room, but were prevented from entering. With handguns drawn, CW and TD managed to partially open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered by the people that came with Pooh Shiesty. It says Gucci was pushed onto the couch in the control room, causing the victims to believe that they were going to be executed. Pooh Shiesty placed the barrel of the firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and Gucci to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the office building. Gucci then instructed CW and TD to escort them back to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at approximately 4:48 p.m. Okay, and they got some pictures of them leaving right here. Right, they got pictures of the vehicle that they were in. It then goes through, you know, how they found out who one of these cars belonged to, and it was through the Hertz rental company. A Buick Enclave that they used was registered to Pooh Shiesty's dad. It then goes through and lays out that Pooh Shiesty was indeed on electronic location monitoring. Then Pooh Shiesty's dad went to Staples at about 1:50. They know it was him because he was in the Buick that he rented in his name from Hertz. shirts. He parked and then went inside to use their copy/printer machines to make copies of the contract that Pooh Shiesty had just forced Gucci to sign. They know he did because they obtained a copy of the receipt that confirms that this transaction occurred. They got some cell phone records that prove they were there too, but I mean, they got surveillance footage. So this is just like backup proof that everybody was there. I don't want to waste y'all's time reading a bunch of stuff that really don't matter. They go through having an APHIS hit on some of the fingerprints that returned to some of the guys that was with them. It says that MM, BP, and RD all personally knew Pooh Shiesty by both his legal name and the name under which he performs, Pooh Shiesty. They identify him in this paperwork with his Instagram account handle right here. And this is where people are saying that the paperwork proves that Gucci Mane spoke to the police and identified Pooh Shiesty, because it says the individual depicted throughout that account matches Williams Jr. or Pooh Shiesty. MM and RD, Gucci Mane, described Williams or Pooh Shiesty as wearing a black Nike brand Shiesty mask, black hooded shirt, and black pants during the offense. Okay, so it's right there in black and white. Gucci Mane described, I'm assuming to the police, exactly what Pooh Shiesty was wearing when they committed this crime. It says that they also identified Pooh Shiesty's dad, Big 30, and you can see RD right there. RD identified Wright, a well-known hip-hop artist, also known as Big 30. They identified his Instagram account, and then they did the same with the rest of the guys. They also put up these posts right here that shows the watches that were stolen from them being posted on Instagram. You can see this dude wearing the same outfit right here with the watch, right? And I mean, they got a ton of these social media photos. Look at me scroll through here, bro. Absolutely insane the amount of self-snitching that these dudes were doing by posting everything online. You know, it then goes through a bunch of information about all the other guys, which nobody's really interested in. And it gives a conclusion. It says, based on the facts set forth above, there is probable cause to believe that on January 10th, 2026, in the Dallas division of the Northern District of Texas, all of these guys conspired and committed kidnapping in violation with this code right here. And that's pretty much what led to the criminal complaint and led to Pooh Shiesty being arrested. So, yeah, man, that's what we got. The paperwork clearly says that Gucci Mane cooperated and identified everybody. And you know what? I gotta say, I don't blame Gucci Mane. This is business. This ain't the streets. You are signed to a record deal with this guy, bruh. You can't just show up waving guns around and forcing people to sign paperwork, releasing you out of your contract, and you think it's all gonna be good. I don't blame Gucci at all. I would have told too, but that's what we got. And y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Same black time, same black channel. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We come hard tomorrow, man. You have a great show tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. Make sure you get here tomorrow. We going bananas tomorrow. I'm out of here. Subscribe.